voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117, and you're tuned in to Next Podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.
No problem. And yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. That is right. It is 8 p.m. ish. It is prime time. And of course, I have rushed home from work just to get here and talk games with you guys. And of course, this crazy ass panel that we have tonight. Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat who decided to get here early, get a good seat. I see a lot of familiar names, faces, whatever you want to call it, man. But it's good to see you guys. We have one hell of a show for you guys. As you know, so many things were dropping. We have the Halo campaign kind of like re-reveal. We have the dreaded 2% when it comes to Xbox and a certain service that I know I love. We have two little letters going at the end of PlayStation and a bunch more. And we have two special guests. So without further ado, let's get into the introductions. And as usual, I like to save the best for last. So first, we're going to go over to the West Coast. You might know him as Scuba Steve. And I know he's got his scuba gear. Dude, I hope you checked your air tank. Make sure it's full, just in case something happens while you're on the show. Of course, I am talking about the Angry Otter himself, Dark Optimus. What is up, bro?
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Thank you, K-Mega. I never fill that tank because you know why?
Why?
I just want to go quick, man. I just want it to just happen.
He fills it with helium, people.
He's got to get it over
so
with.
Then so I don't feel it, you know. Just don't feel it or nothing. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
So basically, your typical weekly thing when it comes to Next Podcast. I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, podcasting with you for so long is like it's like a fucking nightmare.
You know, that's understandable, especially when I have control of all the bells, whistles, knobs, buttons, all that good stuff. I can definitely, I see where you're coming from. But guess what? It is good to have you on this week, and I'm already going to say it. It is good to have you on next week, because I know you're going to be on next week as well. That's the way it goes.
One day it'll just... One day
so you're
I'll
saying
just
you have to deal with him. Is that what you're saying?
Dealing with you, Crispy, is like dealing with fucking death, all right? It's just like, oh, God.
Well, hey, it's 15 years of years, bro.
Or somebody else's death. Like, you know what? I can't.
It's like dealing with a loved one's death. That's what it's.
Aw, that's so sad,
guys.
Right,
that's really messed up, dude.
Great way to start the show, people. But anyway, next on the list, coming live from the 405, and you know, he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. Is my bro K-Mega? What is up, man?
What the fuck was that?
What's happening, ladies and
Your
gentlemen?
intro, bro. That's what it was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was. The slip of the button. No, it wasn't. Anyway, great to be here for the. I don't know what is this. The 700th show that we've done together. I don't know.
Yeah, Sir X-Man was talking about. He's like, dude, you guys are almost 5 years old. I was like, yeah, No, the first.
Oh no, we're older than that.
The first season was like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. No, this is no. We way past 5 years, bro. We've been doing this for a minute.
And it still feels like the first day, right? With all the excitement and everything like that, right, K-Mega?
No, this is old grizzled white man, old grizzled black man. That we were young and spry. Now we just old and grizzled. So
speak for yourself, bro. Speak for yourself.
This is the new episode of 48 Hours. This is what it is right now. But anyway, it's good to be here as usual. You know what I'm saying? Our guests. This is going to be very interesting. I haven't worked with Mooch in so long, so it's going to be fun. And Sir X-Man, didn't we have him like on 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know why he's even here. Why is he fucking here?
We have a quota, like it's supposed to be a month in between, or 2 months, or 6 months.
Yeah, I need like at least a year in between of Sir X-Men sightings.
But anyway, this is gonna be a good show.
Vacation. Let me hang out with y'all. Dang.
Ain't no wrong coming and hanging out with us. So anyway, all right, good stuff, man. Good.
All right, guys. Next on the list, he is the inventor, the creator, the originator of hashtag Crispy Truth, and he's ready to drop some bombs tonight for you guys in the chat. It is Crispy Bomb. What is up, bro?
Exotic butters.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man.
Does it involve caviar or something like that? I mean, come on. Truffle, little bit of truffle. Come on, So
I heard truffle has no taste.
I am interested in tonight is who is on this panel going to be the biggest Sony defense lawyer in history.
Oh!
I want to know because you know what? This collective panel right now, I really don't know. So I am completely interested in what's about to happen. So this is going to be awesome.
Why me?
It's going to be dark. You are a resident pony. So.
I'm telling you, like I could see Bot defending Sony. So I mean,
know how I am.
Wow. I'm just saying, who's going to be the biggest pony supporter in this?
Who's going to be the biggest Xbox supporter? It's going to be fucking Crispy. Every fucking time.
Hold on. Let me just move my salt lick, put over the oat grains over here, and move this.
Are you hiding your gun or something? Like, what are you doing?
Dude, all right.
I think he's trying to say you hung like a horse, buddy. That's
what he's saying. No.
He calling you a horse, man. Salt lick and grains.
Salt lick?
Oh, hell no! Goodness. Yo, guys.
What's your language,
on that note, welcome the Twitch streamer extraordinaire, my golfing buddy, and the guy who may fall asleep on his own streams. That is right. It is Sir X-Man. What is up, bro?
Diabetes. I don't fall asleep on my stream. I fall asleep on everybody else's stream. What you talking about?
One day it's gonna happen on your own, man. I'm telling you.
No, not gonna happen. No.
Only if you're drinking moonshine.
Having too much fun and playing golf with you.
Dude, yeah, we have to come together on that. It's been a while, sir.
Yeah, we do. It's only been like 3 weeks since we played golf, dude. We played about 3 weeks ago.
Feels like
forever, the new game is out, right?
The new game's not out. I
thought it was out.
No, the new game don't come out till February. It always comes out around February.
Well, no, we get that.
What they did,
that's
that was an upgraded one with everything.
Yeah, Ultimate Edition.
It came out with Ultimate Edition.
Yeah,
right.
But
other than that, that's about it. Trying to find time to enjoy myself and play some games, man. That's all. Enjoying the PC. I still love my Xbox.
Here we go.
But I'm enjoying the PC. I'm playing mostly Xbox games on the PC.
Guys, just to let you know, he fixed his 4th monitor. He feels
I got my monitor to
when
watch
he's at home.
I'm good.
He calls
he's PCMR already.
Anybody that lives with him has to call him Neo from Matrix. That's how it goes on in his house. There is no other name for him. But guys, the last intro, and certainly not least, my brother, the creator of Crossfire, the man who gave me my first weekly seat on a gaming news podcast, the man that will never let you down when it comes to food analogies, my brother Mooch. What is up, bro?
I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
Superstar.
Yo, shout out to Kay for the sound effects. Listen, it is outstanding to be back on Next Podcast, and I am blown away, Xbox. And I say this to you every week before we go live on Crossfire. I'm just amazed at what you do on this show. I mean, this is a beautiful layout for the show. Unbelievable. You change it up so frequently. You keep things fresh on the show. Love the panel. A lot of great topics tonight. And yeah, I know I might let Chris be down a little bit. Listen, I don't know if tonight's really a necessary need for a lot of defense. I think a lot of the news in some of the categories are things we've known forever, but just kind of keep getting regurgitated in different forms and different formats of things we already know. But I'm excited to get into each of these topics. And I got news for you. I will not allow Xbot to defend PlayStation because he cannot lose his law degree for Friday night. So it's impossible. We're going to strike him from all PlayStation conversation this evening so that he upholds his Xbox defense lawyer for tomorrow. For God's sakes, we need him.
It's all about Game Pass for him tonight.
Game Pass, baby.
He can always talk about that.
Yes.
I think his thesis was on Game Pass. So we want to go ahead and, I want to say thank you for having me on tonight, Xbot, and I'm looking forward to the topics.
Nice, brother. And when it comes to Game Pass, I just want to throw it out there. Thanks to Game Pass, I am going to probably get the premium bundle of Forza Horizon 5, that $44.99 to get the early access and all the extra cars, but not necessarily have to buy the game because the game's going into Game Pass day one. Shout out to Xbox and Game Pass for that. But let's start off on a game that just recently dropped, Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you check out social media, Twitter right now, anybody who's picked up this game is absolutely adamant that this game is great. Now, I want to throw it out there to the people in the chat and anybody who watches this afterwards. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, the movies and such, but when I saw that you can only play, like, your character is Star-Lord, it kind of pulled me away from, pulling the trigger and purchasing this game. But from what I'm seeing, a lot of people are saying it's a great game. They're having a lot of fun with it. I got to ask, special guests and the panel, out of all you guys, who has picked up and played this game so far?
I'm playing it as well.
All right. Well, Mooch, you are the special guest, one of the special guests. So I'm going to give the mic to you first, man. When it comes to this game, what is going on with this game? How are you liking it? What do you like? What are the pluses, minuses? Give us your thoughts and opinions, bro.
So I'm about 4 hours into the game. I'm going to play some more after the show. And I'll tell you, well, tomorrow. I can't play tonight. But nonetheless, I want to say this much. This game was something that was always on my radar. But it was not something that I was definitely going to pick up. This is a game that I got to tell you, if you are a Marvel fanboy or a Marvel fan in general, this is unique, and I think that Dark will probably even get a little bit better into the combat situation, because like I say, this game is not just about the way that you kind of think about the way Marvel's Avengers was. It's completely different. This is something where there's action to it. You, as Xbox said, you control Star-Lord. You do control the other Guardians in a very like Final Fantasy. I think, again, this is Dark Goddess that said it before the show, so I'm going to give credit where credit's due. It's like almost like a Final Fantasy 15 style type of action. So you don't take control literally of them to go fight, but you do give them the actions, and each of them has different ones, and you can upgrade those. And then there's a bunch of collectibles around the environment for different skins. There's like workstations. You can get better and better gear. And then there's the story, and this is where it hits home. This is a game that right now for me is doing an unbelievably well, it's a well-balanced game between action and keeping you enthralled with the controller, and then also keeping you immersed into a Guardians of the Galaxy story. The writing is superb. The lip sync is superb. The acting is phenomenal. I got to tell you, this is a situation that I wait for, and I think we get maybe 3 times a generation. And let me explain what I mean. I'm not boasting this up too high, but hear me out. This is one of those games where I started playing the game and I expected to like it. Okay, like it. And maybe that means anywhere from I don't like to put a number on it, but 75 to 85 type of like. And then all of a sudden you play it and you start to love it. And how many, you guys know what I'm talking about. Everyone that's listening to the show right now and on the panel, you guys have played a game that you intended, that you knew you were going to like. That was not debatable. That's why you bought the game. But then as you get into it, 3 hours, you start to go, wait, I actually don't want to stop playing this game. Then you get about 6 hours in, and you're like, I'm not going to stop playing this game. And it continues to grow and grow. This is something very, very unique. And then you go ahead and throw in this amazing soundtrack, which you guys know from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bit of its forte. It's a bit of its
all the
strength.
Classics, man.
Right?
Yeah.
There's like 20, 30 songs in there that are classics. And they kick on at the right time. Again, I got to say this, the humor. But you have to understand, I am a massive fan personally of the Guardians of the Galaxy, both movies. Of course, I think the second one was not as good as the first one. But I'll say this much. I still watch them both, 1,000,000 times. This is the key to this, is that the writing is outstanding. And then there's the visuals. And I know you guys have seen this, but I didn't want to really talk about the visuals because visuals are important to a certain extent. You have to enjoy the gameplay. And you have to enjoy the story, especially in a single-player immersed type of game, right?
Community, for some rhyme or reason, it's all about visuals. So
I know, and it's annoying as hell. But at the same time, right? And and Xbot, thank you to you for always saying the moosh. You got to keep the same energy. I said it in 2013, and I said it in 2020. I didn't care when we were talking about 720, 920p, or 1080p, and I don't care about 1440p or 4K. The point of the matter is you have to enjoy the game. You have to enjoy the game. And this is something where I said, again, I want to give the mic to Dark for a second, but I just want to leave this one sentiment one more time. This is an outstanding balance of action and gameplay and story. And the story is downright, like, there's literally, how many times do we say LOL? We say LOL so much that LOL doesn't mean LOL anymore.
No.
I literally did laugh out loud at some of the writing in this game while you're playing it. It's got that Guardians feel. It's like you're watching a continuation. It's a Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but you're controlling it. I'll let Dark talk from there, but this is definitely something that if it's not on your radar, listen, wait for it to go on sale, whatever's within your means. But if you're a Marvel fan, I got to tell you, this is a must play.
Okay. All right. Now, Mooch, real quick before I do move to Dark, I got to ask you, are you playing it on Xbox or PlayStation 5?
I did get this one on PlayStation 5. I'm playing Far Cry 6 on Xbox Series X, so I like to kind of pogo between the two, so I got this one on PlayStation.
No, the reason why I ask, and it's not just to know which platform, when it comes to the PlayStation 5, does it have DualSense kind of like capabilities with its features and stuff like that?
So do I feel the haptic, or I would say that there's not as much of it. They could have probably utilized that more. They did not really institute that to its fullest capability. So no, I'm not seeing where I do notice that in other games. Like it's just one off the top of my head. Like I have Call of Duty Cold War I have for Xbox and I got it for PlayStation 5. I got it for both systems. The haptic feedbacks and that resistance that you feel and the actual rumble, if you will, on the DualSense is much more apparent in the Call of Duty series. Here, I don't think that you'll necessarily notice the difference. So you can buy it on either console if you feel that you don't have to let that kind of be one of the notions. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have that feel.
Anything with the speaker in the controller or anything like that? Like,
no, I have not noticed anything yet. But again, let's be fair. I'm 3.5 hours in.
3.5 hours in.
That's not necessarily the best judge. I'm on chapter 3.
All right, no doubt, bro. And before we get to Dark, I love getting these in before we get to Dark. But shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat, brother. Thank you for the support. No, really, Sir X-Man on the panel right now. Thank you for the support. He says, let's not be naughty today. Keep it clean. Are you sure? I don't think that's gonna happen, bro. I really don't. You look at the rest of the people on the panel. I can do it personally, but I don't know when it comes to the rest of the people on the panel, if that can happen. But
I just wanted a way to send you $2. That's all.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Yo, so Dark, you said you've gotten in on the game.
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts and opinions, bro. What's good?
It's really good, man. I think for you, Bot, I think you'd like this more than you would any of the other Marvel games. Especially like I know how you don't like Spider-Man. I know how you don't like. I didn't
like Spider-Man, and I don't really remember any other Marvel games right now.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man. I don't think you'd played Marvel's Avengers or anything, but
I know I have Marvel's Avengers.
What did you think of that? Did you like it?
There's certain parts I liked it. I liked of the game, but I gotta say the game didn't get me to want to play it more and more. Like
you'll like this one more because it's more linear. It's more linear. There's more of a straightforward story. There's not this like going back and forth kind of thing that they did with like Avengers or even like with Spider-Man. They did that kind of like, and it's not open world either. It's more linear. You kind of go through your paces on this one. It's good, man. I mean, the combat feels definitely like a Final Fantasy kind of thing, but with the cooldowns and things like that, and then you have abilities that you can upgrade and more new abilities and things like that. You have they kind of take every game kind of takes a little bit from an RPG and stuff like that. So I mean, they kind of do that a little bit here and there, but this one is a little bit more straightforward. There's not really like a hub world or anything like that. Like your hub is basically the ship that you're on, but it doesn't, you're not doing much in it. You're just like either talking to the characters or you're changing the music or something like that. The visuals are really good. I mean, I think it looks good. The acting at first, I was kind of hesitant on it, I will say, but I had to get past them not being the Guardians of the Galaxy of the
I was
movies.
wondering
they have to be the Guardians. They're the Guardians of the Galaxy of the comics and of the
Dark, and I don't want to interrupt you because you're doing an outstanding job. I just want to add to that and piggyback. So, Bot, what he's kind of getting into that I think you need to hear about is he's right. The very first, let's say 20 minutes when you're on the ship in the beginning, or it's not even 20 minutes unless you're like me and you search for every collectible in the game.
Yeah,
I have a collectible problem. So, it's a big problem.
I definitely have ADOS,
But he's right. Dark's right. I felt I felt removed a bit from the characters, and then I stopped and I said, wait a minute. Okay, so there's some of them that I think really nail it. I think what is it there? Rocket and Drax are, and of course Groot. I am Groot. I mean, that's not you get anybody. I am Groot. I mean, anybody could have done that. But so you have those three characters. I think those three characters. And Dark, tell me if I'm wrong. I think those three are a lot alike or similar to the movies.
Yeah.
And I think that, of course, Star-Lord and Gamora, or I always say her name right, Gamora. Those two take a little bit more getting used to.
See, Gamora,
a little
when
bit.
It comes down to it,
sure.
Gamora would be the one that I would probably have it would take me the longest because I love Gamora from the movie. So
Xbot, let me say this much.
Yeah, you're
the
definitely
actress.
Have a time with
I don't agree with Dark there. I gotta say, I actually love the actress that's portraying Gamora. I think that she's different, but the same, but different. You know what I'm saying? Like she's
we got one.
Right. Thank you. It's not easy to do. But at the same time, she grows on you, and the character does a great job, and the banter between her and Quill is it's outstanding. I got to tell you, the acting is what sells this game.
You get into it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's very good. So it does take a second to transition, but the minute you're, like I said, what am I, 3.5? I'm chapter 3, whatever you guys want to take that as.
Yeah.
It's already set in that I can't wait to go listen. Yeah, I just can't wait to go back and hear the banter. I think it's absolutely outstanding. But again, I'm a Guardians fan, so I hope that doesn't sway people in the wrong direction. I truly enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie.
Well, this is like, so it's like 16 chapters. So I mean, it's about an hour a chapter in a way. I mean, some are a little bit shorter than the others. Some are a little bit longer than the other. So I would say it would take you about 15 to 16 hours probably to finish this game if you're kind of just not really like going through it. Like some people just go through it. I think if you're looking around for,
what do you think? How long would it take to 100% it? 16? You think 16 to 20 to 100 or 30?
I would say like 20 to 25 probably.
Okay.
Hey, Dark. How are the boss battles in there?
The boss battles, there's like, I mean, they're okay. You know, like they're not.
Like I said, I'm on chapter 3. I don't think I've encountered what you would call a boss battle yet. I mean,
they're not like. I think the tougher battles are when they try to throw things at you, like all the little minions, like the tough. Those are the tougher battles.
Yes.
Like they do have the bosses, but I don't know. I haven't really like it hasn't really like hit me yet where I'm like, holy shit, the fucking bosses are amazing. What's hit me really is the banter back and forth between these characters and the way that the game is presented. It's not really the bosses that drive me.
I haven't really experienced a game with this kind of dialogue. That the dialogue is just like the movie. As you're going through and you're playing the game, they're constantly talking. and it's not it's not repetitive. You know what I mean? It's not like the same thing all the time. Like Quill, get off my foot.
But
Quill, get off my foot. You know what I mean? It's a story, and I think it's phenomenal. But again, I'm early in. But it's a lot of dialogue.
That's important.
The story kind of the story follows more the comics than it does the movies. So the comics, you know what happens to his mother in the comics and stuff like that. That's what happens in this game, you know, and things like that. So it's more more along those lines than it is the movies. Like I see where they were going with this. They were like, well, we can't make it like the movies, but we could make it like the comics, and
you're gonna get a lot of that in the future. By the way, when it comes to more like Marvel games, it'll be like, we don't want to give Disney the money here, so we'll make it like the comics. Like that's it's all well and good. But.
So I could see a lot of people maybe gravitating towards these games more because of the fact that the movies have kind of all been very similar in terms of, and don't get me wrong, I love the movies too, but they've all kind of had their comedy in them. They've all had this, this great threat in them. They're all kind of copy and paste in a way. It's not really a bad thing. It's just, it's not unique when these games actually feel unique. Like Spider-Man feels different than Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel's Avengers feels different from Spider-Man. Like these games just feel different from each other.
And see, that's where, like, again, what put me off to it was the whole, you play as Star-Lord. But I gotta say, after talking to both of you guys, I have some interest in this. I do love the characters. I can get over the Gamora thing as long as the actress is doing a good job or whatnot. So it's interesting. Maybe down the line, might scoop it up, if there's a sale or something going on. But did anybody else play the game on the panel?
It's probably gonna go to Game Pass, I guarantee you.
Ooh, say that again, bro.
I'm gonna scoop it up before that.
It's probably gonna go to Game Pass. I almost guarantee that this game will go to Game Pass because it's Square Enix. Square Enix made Marvel's Avengers, so I'm pretty sure this game is gonna go to Game Pass.
Every Thursday, Dark finds some way to talk dirty.
They also made Outriders, by the way.
They also made Outriders.
Oh yeah, Outriders. Yep, they also made Outriders. So yep. So I mean,
they probably have a contract.
Square Enix has a good relationship with Microsoft and Game Pass, so I see this game going in, within.
I want to play as Rocket personally. That's all I want from the game. I don't think you can do that. Yes, I understand. I mean, maybe a DLC, maybe that'll get me into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I feel like Avengers and this game, they force you to play as certain characters when really you just want to play as your own character or the character you love. And like, Guardians of the Galaxy, I go straight to Rocket, Bradley Cooper, just, like he did such a good job. And I feel like he's the only one with the banter in this game that I was like, oh, this is not bad. This is not far off from the movie. You know what I'm saying? This is
totally
not
does,
far
he
off.
sounds a lot like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's shame on me. I don't know his name, but the fact is that, it felt real, like I was watching the movie. And if you guys kind of went on, like the story is really good. I do love the MCU. I love Guardians. I think that's, both those movies are really good in my opinion. Like they're very fun, and they're no holds bar, and they throw stuff at you that you haven't heard in years. They do all kinds of crazy shit. So I love
honestly
that.
think the second one is funnier than the first one.
It is, in my opinion as well. But the first one is a better movie. It is a better movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Better
saying?
soundtrack too.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's better too. Yeah.
I think the first
So
one had
I
better
kind
soundtrack.
of, I don't want to go into something and then all of a sudden trash it because I'm forced to play as Star-Lord. Like Chris Pratt is great in the movies, but this dude's not on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, he's not.
it's
See, I
not
think
the
that's
same.
the problem is
I
there
would
is
love
you're
to play as
constantly
Rocket.
comparing.
You know what I'm saying?
Crispy, I think
I
the
think-
issue here is you're constantly comparing it to the game. When Dark already said it, it goes more in line
it's
with the comic books.
with the comics. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, but let's be honest here. Like, I get it. Like, we know the comics, but that's not the point. The
Well-
most relevant thing right now is Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie, Volume 1 and
Right,
Volume
it is,
2.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
and
you know what I'm
Volume
saying?
three,
look at that. Look at this,
And then
Crispy. Let me-
Avengers Endgame. Like, yes, you could introduce people to something they don't know, but would that resonate in this, the way we are now, like the way social media is involved? Would that resonate? And I feel like the only thing that resonates is that the people that watch the movies and resonate to those characters. And I feel like that's something that, unfortunately Square Enix has just been like, no, we're not dealing with that. And I think they should. I think they should figure out a way to play as those characters and enjoy those characters because that's what people want to do. I'm not saying everyone,
Well,
but
Right.
there's a
I will say-
majority.
I will
Crispy,
say
there's
I
a couple
will-
of interesting things you bring up there that you kind of dissect. I know where you're coming from, and actually, I'm in your camp. I relate more to the movie. I'm not big into the comics, but our community online that we all speak
That's
of,
what I
I
was
mean,
just
are
gonna say.
heavily into the comics on everything.
The
The
community's
other thing
going
is
crazy
like,
right now.
the other thing about it, no, I agree, Xbot. The other thing about it that I would just ask you to take a step back and think about, this is how I've kind of changed my thought on Marvel's Avengers and this game, is that, look at this movie. Look at I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie, I believe it's called Doctor Sleep, which is
Yep.
the
Yes.
predecessor
Yep.
or the successor, pardon
Shining.
me, to The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could sit there and say, and there's references to The Shining,
That was a good
but
movie,
there's
too.
no Jack Nicholson.
It is good.
There's no, there's no like, Johnny's back. There's none of that. So you've
Here's
got to
Johnny.
take it right. Here's Johnny. You've got to kind of look at the game for what it is. Third, there's contractual money licensing issue. I'm pretty sure that they don't want to pay Brad. What's his name there? Chris Pratt. $20 million
Chris
to
Pratt,
come and
Bradley
voice this over.
Cooper,
Right?
Vin
I mean, yeah,
Diesel,
You're talking about $100 million in just actor
No,
fees.
I understand
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. My
So-
point is that you have certain characters that you gravitate towards, and I
They're there.
feel like they've but they're there. But if they've null and voided it as soon as you started the game, that could be an issue for somebody like
It
me.
could.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I think you'd like it because if you like Rocket and he's your favorite, the actor, and you said it yourself, the actor does such a good job. It's not Bradley Cooper, but it's good. It's very, very good. It's believable. Let me put it that way. It's believable that it's Rocket from the movies that you fell in love with.
I don't get to play as Rocket, and Rocket is one of the slyest, most intelligent characters in the entire MCU. A lot of people
agree,
don't
but
realize that.
we're
He
in the
talks
world
about
of video
quantum
game.
physics, bro.
He
Like,
does, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
no,
He's very
listen,
smart. Yeah.
I actually like Rocket too. He's a very strong part of the four. I think he's probably second. I'm actually, and maybe it's because I'll agree with you here, Crispy Bomb. I think it's because Chris Pratt did such a good job. Okay, I actually I'm more of a Star-Lord fan because of that sense of humor that Chris Pratt brought to it. And I think that this actor, does he do as good of a job as Chris Pratt? No. Is he close? It's passable.
no,
And,
it's subjective. It's subjective.
It's much better. It's much better than what the Captain America of the Avengers did for me. That just did. And I'm a big Captain America fan, and not I just didn't feel that did the justice. What I'm saying is, if I'm you, the good news is your favorite characters. At least, yes, you can't play as him, but it's and let me tell you, he is wicked involved in this. He's almost every other word in it so far. So I mean, it's the same humor and it's close. So I'm just saying, this is still a game that I would recommend you think about if it's something that you enjoy. If you like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm telling you, you'd like this. And trust me, I walked into it with a like, and I'm playing it, falling into a love with it. It's that great. It's a great game.
Yo, real quick, I just want to shout out Lady Foxfire is in the chat. What is up,
Shout out to Lady Foxfire.
Nice.
Great to see you. But if nobody else has gotten their hands on this game, right? Pretty much, no. All right, guys, we are moving on, and you guys knew.
Oh, I was on mute. I was trying to say I will be picking the game up. I just got to figure out which platform I want to do it
Sir
on.
X-Man, there's a point in time where you're gonna pick up every game. Am I wrong, K Mega? They're like, he's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pick that up.
Nope, you're not wrong.
I'm gonna pick that up, man. Yo, you gotta pick up Demon Slayer.
I had a quick comparison because I got to thinking. Other than Spider-Man, there hasn't, and this game now, the last great, I'm sorry, Marvel game that was out was the the Wolverine game back.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
the X-Men.
360. No,
X-Men
the Wolverine
Origins.
game.
Spider-Man
on the
Shattered
360,
Dimensions.
You talk about Origins.
Yeah, Origins.
Yeah, that was the greatest
That was
Marvel
good, man.
game that I've
That shit
ever
was good, man.
played. That's why I say
Yeah.
other than Spider-Man by whatchamacallit in there.
Insomniac.
Yeah, Insomniac. And for this game now to come out with totally different, Guardians of the Galaxy with the Marvel property, Marvel might start looking at this developer, to start making more games for them instead of who made it the last time.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When it comes down to it, Marvel will probably they'll work a deal with the publisher. But I do agree with what you're saying. If this game is a success, and it started off really good
It's
from
better
what I've
than
seen.
Avengers.
What I've seen
People
in the
saying
community.
that sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but people are saying that this game could throw in the nomination for Game of the Year.
Oh, well,
There are some people actually saying no. There are some people saying that.
I still think so far from what I've seen,
I'm
Psychonauts
choking up right now.
Psychonauts 2.
No, that was
from
me
what I've
choking
seen.
up. No,
Well, no. Psychonauts 2 is great. It deserves to win. But I'm just saying it has the potential to be nominated for a contender.
I got you.
People are saying it's that good.
And that'll also sway, when Marvel does make a deal with a publisher, and comes to Square, they'll look at this development studio for possibly future projects and stuff. It's kind of how the business works over there. But
it also helps. One more thing, real quick, Bob. It also helps them to say it's selling on. We're selling this on multiple consoles, so they might start saying, "Okay, we need to spread ourselves out and not have exclusives."
Well, speaking of exclusives, I do want to get into Halo and the re-reveal of the campaign, brother. That is the topic that we need to jump into right now. Now, real quick, I'll just give a couple of my first opinions, guys. When it comes down to it, I think the gameplay looks absolutely phenomenal. When I saw Chief get into the Banshee, jump out of the Banshee with the rocket launcher, shoot one of the other Banshees, blow that up, but then grapple to one of the other ones, and then hijack that thing and continue to keep going. That, in my mind, is a Halo moment. From what I saw from the re-reveal of the campaign, it really brought me back to the original Halo. Kind of like looking at the scope, looking at the area around, and kind of like things that you didn't think you can do or didn't even think about doing, and the possibilities of doing those things. It really, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it really brought me back to kind of like the first Halo and playing the first Halo.
Dude.
I will say.
I can't wait to tell you what I thought about that moment.
I will say graphically, again, I am not a fan of the art style. Not only that, I am not a fan of the brutes. I have never been a fan of the brutes when it comes down to it. I do like there's points, like there's different bosses and stuff like that I really do have an interest in. That Harbinger character really has me intrigued. Like, where does she come from? What is her origin story? What is she? And damn, she just put Master Chief
That's a
through, like,
guy.
that's a guy, because it really it sounded
Oh,
like
you
a
talking
girl.
about? Okay, I got you talking about the
Yeah.
Harbinger. And the
Yo, brother, you gotta
True,
remember, I pay attention to Halo stuff. Okay,
Oh, no, I got you.
Yo, she put him through like 3 walls. All right, when it comes down to it. And of course, kind of like the other side of it, you have people on social media that are zooming in to different brutes at like 400%. But the thing is, they were already zoomed in the game when it came to the sniper rifle, and people are pointing to these things and just trying to really gouge at the graphics of this game. But I'm gonna start with K.
They're trying to compare it to a fucking YouTube video, dude. That's what they're doing.
Dude,
Why do we care?
Like, oh
That's
my
the
God.
whole point. Why do we
next.
care?
I'm gonna go to
so
K Mega
stupid.
first. I'm gonna go to K Mega first, and you guys can go through whatever he says and his thoughts and all that good stuff. But
I know I meant
K-Mega-
after K.
K Mega, the re-reveal, man. What did you think of what you saw? Gameplay, graphics. Are you hyped for this? Dude, I feel like one of those characters that elite that they showed. Kind of, I'm almost in your corner now that Locke is going to be somewhere in there, and I'm a little concerned for his well-being right now. But what
You
did you
better
think?
be concerned for Chief's well-being. So it's
No, he should be concerned about Locke's well-being, because Locke's gonna fucking die in like the first 3 hours.
Oh damn, bro! Damn.
No man, save Team Lock.
listen,
You better stop that blasphemy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Stop
Hashtag save Lock. This is what's gonna. What I predicted and what I've said so far has come. It is now looked up. It's been shown. Like when I was saying, look, man, this is going to be an open world. People are like, no, I said this. I said this about that.
Well, it's not. It's not completely open world though. Like you said, open world.
It's semi-open world, but it's a bigger it's bigger than a semi-open world if that makes any sense. It's like
It's a medium open world.
Yes, it's not like
it's got sections.
A full
there's
open
broken
world like
sections
you
that
but
you
it
can
is
explore.
Right, but it's still you can go anywhere. It's not linear, so that's where it's not.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's that's where it's different.
It's like a sandbox.
Previous Halos, right? Like it's a sandbox. Like you can pick and choose. It's kind of like just like right now because I'm playing Far Cry 6. It's like that, but it's not that extensive. But there will be plenty of things to do within that world. So I mean, because they've already said that this was a massive, which there's been people that's been speculating that this was going to be the shortest Halo campaign ever, and they just debunked that and said this is going to be the biggest, most massive Halo campaign ever. So
about 30 hours, they said.
Yeah, it's going to be 25.
When did they give hours on this? Hold on. When?
Well, last year when they were talking about it, there was an article, and it's also in Halo Finder.
I need somebody to share that with me on Twitter. By the way, I need to.
Where they were talking about that. Where one of the directors was saying that the length is anywhere from between 20 to 25 hours, and then of course if you want to do everything, it will be more than that. But that was their actual length between 20 to 25. But I was over here saying like there's going to be people that's going to speed run, so they might get it done within like 12, about 12 hours or so like that. But that's neither here nor there. The point of it is that look, it showed that putting it in the oven, letting it bake worked. And so the outcry that was happening, that was actually came out to be a positive. I mean, just like with any other game that has delays, there's always a positive outlook that comes out from that. So it's no different here. The game design, you and Donna's on the same level of it when it comes to like the game design, because it's got that older Halo look. Yeah, the art style, which it's either here or there. Now looking at it, when you see the game itself, it does still has that kind of an oldish feel.
Oh, dude, it has the same. They just added detail on top of what they already
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying, but it still has that oldish feel.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
Right. It doesn't look futuristic as what Halo 5 did. But the one thing too is that where people was trying to speculate that this was a soft reboot, they made it clear right off the gate after the events of Halo 5, this is what's going to happen, because you just can't take what happened within Halo 5. I don't care how many people hate the story or not. Everything that happened within Halo 5 was very important to go forward. On top of the fact that they made one of the best villains that you've ever want to see with the Banish. And so like just everything.
But Banish wasn't in Halo 5. That was Halo Wars 2.
But it is connected to Halo 5 because if you beat Halo Wars 2, it all comes back to Halo 5.
No, I know that at the end, but
right.
Really,
that's what I'm saying, right?
You can't really it wasn't because of Halo. The Banish wasn't in Halo 5. They didn't introduce the Banish.
It is all from the Forerunners because obviously
the Banish they introduced him at the end of the game in the single player.
Not in Halo 5. But what they did is that the Guardians was introduced into Halo Wars 2, which is bringing the Banish to this ring.
Okay.
To get them off of that planet where the Spirit of Fire came up and just come across. So to where they get introduced to the Banish. So like I said, it all ties in. I don't think
you got to worry about spoilers, man. Like you can
right. Because I mean, the people who don't want to play Halo Wars 2, but
people who wanted to play it already played.
At the end of Halo Wars 2, what happens is that the scientist that was part of the Spirit of Fire, which is the Red Team, that's their story. Jerome and they and Alice and all them. They have they got lost. It's kind of like in Star Trek Voyager. They get into a intergalactic battle and then something happens and then they get lost. So then they have to fight their way back. Sorry. And then they get lost and they come back.
Don't you be dissing us Trekkies, man. That's disrespectful too.
And basically what happens is that they're trying to find their way back to civilization, back to the UNC. And then in Halo Wars 2, they were put in cryo sleep. They wake up to some disturbance and then they go and they hear this distress signal, which that's another thing too that's going to be interesting because in Halo Wars 2 there's this new AI that's there, which is Alice, I believe, and so basically she's really skillful like that. And I love that AI. She was really cool. She wasn't like other AIs. Like, I mean, Cortana's in her own way. It's interesting what they're going to do in Halo Infinite with this, with the weapon, as they call this new AI. And then with Alice. So they're all going to have to form up in some way, shape, or form. So that's why I was saying, like, Chief can't handle all of these threats that's coming at him at one time. It's just not going to happen. Now, within this story, this is like, look, in this story, this is Chief's story. This is where Chief is going to open up to try to save as many soldiers as he can, and then we'll probably see more and more, like maybe some cameos from somebody from Blue Team, from maybe hopefully from somebody from a Red Team, from Team Osiris, etc. So that was what I was over here predicting. Is like, if this is what you want to do to make Chief to be in a compromising position where he's going to need help, where he needs all hands on deck, you're going to have to throw everything at the kitchen sink with him. And then you got the Harbinger of Truth, which you was talking about, what you seen, which I found it funny because it is the same type of clip of what they showed within God of War, where he gets flown in the air, gets thrown through a tree or whatever, and then he gets slammed, he slams to the ground. But I mean, whatever. But that type of situation. Then of course the shadow Spike Jowl, I can't say his name properly, so let me be
the Spartan Killer.
Well, they're all Spartan killers pretty much, but yeah.
That's a specialized.
That's a specialized Spartan. Yeah, he's an assassin, so he's going to be an absolute problem. And then of course, there's if you played Halo Wars 2 and played the expansion, you find out that the Flood comes back. And so somehow, way, shape, or form, all this shit's going to be coming. Plus, you still got the Forerunners. And so on top of everything else, and then we're hearing some more stuff about the behind the scenes about the Didac isn't really dead.
What?
So if you got all of this coming,
What
or
did you hear
there's
about the
some kind
Didac isn't really dead?
Hey, I got to tell you back in the backfields. I don't know, but listen.
Oh. Dude, that's one of my favorite villains, by the way.
So if you got all of this shit coming back on Chief,
Is K Mega an insider now?
he can't. No, intel. No.
K Mega is a Halo historian.
Hey, I got a question,
If
K
you go
Mega.
into all that, this is where Chief cannot do this alone, and this is the perfect time to where you can start bringing in other characters to start having their own stories after this story. So, with all that being said, I found the story to be. I found what they showed look great, well polished. I even like that they take when they're getting scrutinized and they make it into a joke with Craig, like they enhance them and all that. And listen, I do agree with you, Bot. That was the one reason why I always said like 343 always gets shitted on when it comes to what they do with their development compared to Bungie. But I didn't like the Brutes too. They were just too big and dumb and just running around and they just was ignorant with what 343 did. They're the ones who made the Banish. They're the ones who made to humanize Chief. 343 is the ones to also make that bond between Chief and Cortana even more impactful.
More than combat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
more than just combat.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking that this is going to be a fantastic story, and obviously it shows a lot of confidence too. Because if they didn't, then I would agree with those that were trying to debate to see if this was going to be a short Halo campaign. But for them to make this a massive, huge campaign, that shows that they got confidence in their writing, in their direction, and they're focused on what they're doing, because that was the one thing that I was hoping the 343 did, was take this game and make it like their own, just like Cory Barlog did with God of War. Make it your own. Listen out, we appreciate what David Jaffe did with the old God of War. I was always going to be something that's tight to my heart. But I have to say, as a person who was reluctant and wasn't a fan of what they were talking about of this God of War, that I fell in love with the game after I beat it. So this is what I think a lot of people is going to go back to and say, look, maybe I need to go and stop listening to so many other people and go back and play Halo 5 again. And see that maybe that I need to pick up on some of these things that I'm not following, because if it doesn't go in full detail of the back history of what happened with Halo 5, then you're going to have to go back and understand why all of this stuff is going on in Halo Infinite. But with that being said, I just think that it looked great. It's getting me pumped. I cannot wait. December 8th just can't be quick enough.
Dude, I can tell you're pumped. Man. You had nothing but words coming out the entire time. And I do want to say something real quick, K-Mega, before I move to everybody else. Mm-hmm. Now, we all know the campaign is separated from the multiplayer. Multiplayer is free to pay, free to play. Campaign is going to be $60, or if you subscribe to Gamepass, you'll be able to play that game day one at launch. Now, I feel like they almost look like two different games. Do you get the same feeling? Like when it comes to the art style and the look, like I feel like you have Halo Reach 2 multiplayer, which is the multiplayer free to play, and then I feel like it's Halo 1 kind of stepped up to today when it comes to the campaign. And to me, they look like two different games, different graphics and stuff like that. Did you get that at all?
Well, I mean, of course, and we've had this discussion about a month ago or so, where you were saying that the game, that the multiplayer doesn't look better than the campaign, or vice versa. I forgot how the conversation started, but as you can see, the campaign is going to look better than the multiplayer by leaps and bounds. I mean, look, well, we were getting that feed off of another feed. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just imagine what that game is going to look like, on your 4K or 8K television, or you know what I'm saying, or your monitor. that game, Halo Infinite, is going to look like a well-polished machine. And they also said that they're going to add the ray tracing, which I don't think a lot of people was bringing that up, which that was something that was getting scrutinized as well. So
yeah, I was going to say with some of the lighting, like again, people are picking the worst kind of like screenshots, and we all know when the game's in motion, you don't necessarily see it the exact way as that screenshot. But there was like a zoomed in of one of the brutes where he has his chest piece coming up over his mouth or whatnot. And one thing I can say for the lighting, it looks like the lighting. It looks like they built this game thinking about ray tracing, and the ray tracing was not ready yet, or is not going to be ready yet. So they had to throw in a lighting element in there, and I feel like it might not, it's not really going to shine its brightest until they're able to get.
I think ray tracing is the most overrated talking point, just like with the last gen 8K. That it's too much of a resource hog right now for these developers to utilize. So Luminous and other ways work just fine until because really when you look at it, let's say like with Watch Dogs 3, it looks great, right?
Luminous is Unreal Engine though.
Well, I mean, I get that, but that's why I said Luminous and other things out there that's going to be used. I didn't just say I'm just bringing up Luminous as just one just one entity, but I'm just saying like
technical.
Yeah, but this is what's look, okay, like I said, I'm playing Far Cry 6 right now as we talk, right? I don't think this game has any
as we talk. Do we have your okay, Mega?
He does it all the time,
right?
He does it all the time.
I do it all the time. I'm used to it. So what I'm saying is that I don't know if this game has ray tracing, and I don't think it does. But there's parts in this game where the reflection and the lighting is so damn beautiful. Like, sometimes you're just like, man, I'm gonna drop off this mountain and just wingsuit around for a little bit. So at nighttime, when you can get in certain areas where you could just walk around and in the darkness, and you see the moonlight can shine off of
it has ray tracing if you put it on like the 30 frames per second mode.
Oh, on the 30 frames, okay.
But if,
all right,
but if you have it at the 60, then
I got it at the 60. So, but
it
regardless,
still looks great, right?
Yeah, it looks great, right? So like,
you don't need ray tracing to make it look good.
Yeah, it's a great talking point. I mean, I would love for it, but
5.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. So again, back to the whole point about Halo is that look, the campaign is going to look spectacular. The multiplayer looks really, really good. There's still more things to see because we only got the chance to see 3 different maps. So it's not. I still don't think that the multiplayer is going to look as good as the campaign, but it's still going to look good. And on top of that, the reason why they're separating them is because you're not going to be able to customize like you are in the multiplayer. Because if you looked at the Master Chief customization, all of a sudden they got any and everything going on. They got
electricity with the grappling hook. You can electrocute enemies and stuff.
Yeah, you got all different types, but their armor sets, all pieces and everything. They are just going all out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Probably I say 4th, 5th season of Halo Infinite, where they're just going to go bonkers, and you're just going to see a whole bunch of just different looking stuff out there to personalize your character. And that's not going to be the things that you can add on to Halo Infinite. That's why they're separated. But no, to get back to your major point, the campaign is going to look a lot better.
Okay. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Who has to go next? It was between Dark or Sir X-Man. I forgot who's like I got next on this.
I mean, I'd like to, but
Oh, okay. Well,
go ahead, Dark. No, you cool. Go ahead, bro.
All right, man. So, as you guys know, I was concerned about Halo.
Yes.
You
I
said
am
that
no
many
longer.
means ago.
I am no
he
longer.
said it every week since he felt he was concerned.
I don't know. Not the past couple.
Listen. I literally, like, had a heart attack watching this fucking game.
What
got you?
Like this game.
What changed your mind?
I mean, you did. You told me. I know. Take your word for it, bro. You know how it is, dude. You gotta.
He has to form his own opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I got you.
And this, oh man, dude, this game looks so fucking sick, dude. Oh my god, like December 8th is right around the corner. But if it was right now, dude, I wouldn't even be on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, but you
dude.
got
I'm telling you
got
that.
Forza. You got Forza. What? You got Forza coming.
I wouldn't even be on this podcast right now, dude. If today was December 8th, I'd be like, no, fuck you, bot. I'm
Forza
playing
would be in
fucking
trouble
Halo, dude.
if Halo was out right now.
Now you're making me
but-
check if December 8th is a Thursday. By the way, I just want to.
Yeah, you should probably check that. I think.
Oh
it's a
yeah,
Friday.
yeah. You better. Yeah, I think I'm on.
No, day before. It's on a Wednesday.
Is it a day before? Okay, it's on a Wednesday. Okay.
Well, I'll be
That's
sick
good.
anyway.
Damn, dude, this game looks. Oof, it looks good, man. I mean, I'm not really like. I don't really care about the art style. I just like the way that the game, like how they presented this. I was like already sold. Like, or as soon as I started watching it, I was like, okay, I'm sold. And I mean, I know, like I had my problems. I was like, I don't know, man. We haven't seen anything in the campaign. I don't know, man. The only thing we saw was a year ago, and then they showed it, a couple days ago, and it was just like, okay.
Can I ask you a
I'm
question,
good.
Dark?
I can watch it. I can play it.
Could you tell me what the campaign's about?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you what the campaign's about, but
You're excited for it?
Yeah, I'm excited
Okay.
for it because it looks like Far Cry. And I love Far Cry, dude. I fucking loved Far Cry 6. This dude, Far Cry 6 is probably the best Far Cry since Far Cry 3. To be honest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think Halo, and I'm gonna stick to like, Bot says is keep the same energy. I don't the visuals, listen, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Halo in visuals, I think it's gonna look just fine when they get there. I guess I'll just use Dark's words. I thought what we saw in the overview, I still have no idea what the campaign is about. I mean, I will say this, but first of all, I want to praise K Mega, because K Mega, he just did a 20-minute story that I think that if you could snip this and send it to 343, they would have the next iteration of Halo, because he did an outstanding job selling me. But unfortunately, I don't know if anything K Mega said is actually going to be in the game.
Right.
So
it's
lore. I mean, you were discussing lore. That's fine.
Right.
Kay, Kay, this is not a critique on you. You did. I'm telling you, I sat here and I thoroughly enjoyed what you said. I could have listened to a 2-hour podcast on what you did.
Oh, wow.
Because no, it was good. You got me enthralled. You got me excited.
Do not give that man any ideas.
No, Kay.
Oh,
no, listen.
God.
I gotta be honest. Listen. Warrior. Shout out to Warrior Word, K Mega, Xbot. There's a bunch of people I'm leaving off the list here, but those are the people that just come to mind when I think of the lore of Halo, and I know they know the background story, and I genuinely get excited to see big time fans get excited. I was hoping that we were not gonna. I was hoping we were gonna get like a 20-minute in depth. I'm sorry, but well, we're running out of show, and I gotta jump in here. Dark, because Dark, yours, K set the tone. And then you're like, I just wish it was December 8th. And I think my question to you, and my question to anybody is, what is it you're going to be playing on December 8th? And the answer is, I don't know, but I can't wait to play it. Now, don't get me wrong. That's fine. If that's your answer, that is a legitimate answer. We're gamers. We like gaming first. So if that's what you love, that's what you love. Hey. But the snippets and the things I saw, here's what I saw. 2 major bad, enemies that are going to be in the game. An area where you jump out of the ship and you get into a vehicle, which we've been doing forever. Roll over. You're going to have these, looks like public events. I'm not saying they're public events, but looks like public events like Destiny, where you're going to have to go and defeat an area and blow up those if you will, like power stations. Yeah. But what's going on? What's happening? Where are we coming from?
Let me break.
Hold on.
Well, wait a minute. So Xbot, you can take the mic right now. My caveat is not what do you think? What is actually coming? Not what do you think? Because they just did an overview and the game comes out in less than 40 days. So what is it we're actually going to be playing? Not what do you think we're going to be playing?
You're again in what they showed. They said that there was a war between us and the Banished, and
yes.
Basically we lost when it came down to it. And with us losing, the Banished took control of this Halo. Now, this pilot found Master Chief floating in space. When it comes down to it, there was still an AI that was sent down there to trap Cortana, and he has to go down there and grab her. But the mission is to get rid of the banished. That is the thing. Now they basically won, so we're pretty much as a society, like as a civilization, humans, we're pressed up against the wall. They even said it in what they showed. They said that our main goal now is survival.
Yes,
as a species.
That is correct. Yeah.
So you have the Master Chief who is there on this Halo. And when it comes to Master Chief, he's never gonna stop fighting. You already know that about him. He's never gonna stop fighting. He's gonna go against all odds, and the odds are completely against him. Then not only that, you do have a mysterious character that somehow, some way, if you look at both the original kind of like campaign reveal and now this re-reveal, you know that this Harbinger has sided herself with the banished, and now we've actually seen what the Harbinger looks like, and we're like, what the hell is that? You see what I'm saying? So it's basically it's a war that between an army and one man is what's going on right now.
Well, and, there's a lot of people in the chat that they, of course, they go right to the negative Nancy thing. It's not. I'm asking a question because I'm sitting here and I'm
that too. I want to help.
No, Kay, I definitely want to hear your take on it. I think that I'm excited as well. And as a matter of fact, I'm so excited. I'm actually going to be buying the game. And the thing about it is that I'm still concerned on the fact of, is this going to be, and shout out to Jamie, he says, when people play a Halo sandbox, they want a Halo sandbox and not cheesecake. It's not that difficult. It's not that it's difficult, Jamie, but I'm asking you a legitimate question. There was an entire campaign, commercials, me and K Mega back in the day having amazing conversations on Lock and Chief. Okay, but regardless of how that ended up before Halo 5 came out, about that lore and what we're going to be doing and what's going on, and there was chapters and story, and now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy a sandbox.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They failed on that.
Thank you, Kay. And that's all I'm saying is I'm sitting here weeks before the launch, and I understand I'm going to be running around in a big sandbox, but I don't necessarily want Far Cry Halo. You know what I mean? Like, I want Halo. And I'm going to say like Xbot, being the traditional guy that playing it from the day one up until now, that's something I'm looking forward to. But Kay, go ahead. I am enthralled to hear what you have to say.
Well, just to talk in a novice sense. Okay, so there's this guy named Escheron, which is the holographic picture guy that everybody clowned in the very first one, but now everybody looked at the new look of him and everything. He is the mentor of Atriox. Now, of course, a lot of people don't know who Atriox is because a lot of people didn't play Halo Wars 2, but Atriox is the baddest dude in the universe right now, next to Master Chief. Escheron is his teacher, is the one that taught him how to be this warlord. So right now, what Escheron has done, he's got the Harbinger. He's going to have also, and you hear this, put this on record, he's going to have Spartans as well, going to be part of the Banished. There's going to be human factions that's going to be part of the Banished. Because there's going to be a choice whether they want to live, want to die, whatever. But this guy right here, he's the mentor of the baddest dude in the universe, going to go up against Chief. And all these other entities that are working up under Escheron, which is pretty much the second in command under Atriox, shows how formidable the Banish is, and that Chief is got to fight all of this. So that is the breakdown overall. It's like Chief is dealing with all these other things going, got to handle this, and this is going to be his greatest battle yet, because now not only if he's always saved the day to help humanity, he's actually failed now because humanity is lost. I don't hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, no, actually it does, Kay. And I mean, now Kay, let me ask you a question. Do you think, of course there's going to be a continuation, it's not going to end on Halo Infinite. But I mean, do you think when you finish this game there'll be a finish, or do you think this is going to be something where they're like going to
No.
keep adding to it with piece by
This
piece?
is going to,
Or, you know what I mean?
This is going to be this is going to be Destiny-esque. It's going to be like a 10-year,
Right. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because if I said it, the chat would have been like, "Here he goes again."
Oh no, really?
So thank you. I appreciate K Mega saying it. Yes. So that's exactly my point. Is this is going to be not that that's a bad thing. I'm asking, do you think that that's what it'll be?
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's
Yo.
where they're going to add the lore of other characters going forward, just kind of like how Destiny is. This is why this is a 10-year project, and this isn't just. Right. So this is why I say this is Chief's last hurrah. I think by the end, when Atriox and Chief meet, I think they both kill each other off, and then it's going to be a whole nother era for
He is
for
just
Halo
trying
at
to
that
find
point in
some
time.
way for
I'm
Locke
not
to take
trying to
over.
find. It's just like
I
Moose.
swear.
Okay.
Yeah.
The game is called
I
Halo.
haven't. Yeah, Moose, I
Master
haven't talked to
Chief.
you in a while, so I got to sit there and I got to ask you this question. Okay, so
Oh,
listen,
no.
Yes.
in Star Wars, right? What
Yes.
did they do? What did they do to the old people? To the people that's been in the Star Wars movies lore forever?
They killed them all.
They killed them off. They
They killed them all. Yeah.
They
did.
killed all their
How'd
old
that
asses
work for
off,
them,
right?
though?
Yes, they did.
Han Solo can't come around and jump around and swing on ropes and go around and kiss Leia's old ass.
That's
Because,
right.
you know,
That was
they
Luke
can't- they're old.
Skywalker that
They're
did
old.
that.
Yeah,
But this
right.
this is different. This is a game. Those
This is in
characters
Mario.
don't age
This
in
is
games.
in
I
Mario.
completely disagree
And
with
that's-
you, Game Mega.
and-
I really do.
no, okay, so I mean, you can disagree with me, and a lot of people do, but then a lot of people do agree with me
Can't
because
compare it to Star Wars.
listen, okay, that's just like
Different.
talking about That's just like talking about a cartoon. But what are the most popular animes out there? The ones that evolve, like Demon Slayer, like Dragon Ball Z. They evolve.
You're trying to
because they
save a
get
character that
older.
no one cares about, though, dude.
What are you talking about? I'm talking.
Wow.
So nobody cares about Red Team. Nobody cares about.
You know, he has.
No.
This is the problem I have right now. You're a huge Halo fan. You know way more than I could ever know.
Right.
And you have no faith in Master Chief. You have zero.
Master Chief is not. Master Chief, listen.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell
he's
you,
got to have faith in
the
Master
only
Chief
reason why
now.
I think you're wrong about this is because Gears killed off Marcus, not killed him off, but killed him off by basically taking his balls from him. Okay?
But look
Correct.
what happened.
Crispy Bomb.
Hold on.
Crispy Bomb wins the
That's what they
award for
did.
tonight.
No, but hold on. But you know what? You know
They
what
took
did?
his
He's a
cojones away.
secondary character
Yes.
now. He's a secondary character. Marcus is a
Exactly.
secondary character now.
You
Because
know
he's what? He's old.
Do you
He's
know
old.
what I
It's
saw?
not-
Well,
it's not going
technically,
to be direction.
John's old, bro. Like it technically is.
John's old.
He's much older.
Technically, John is actually, if you look at the timeline of Halo between the years that we have right now,
He's
he's
around-
only 39 years old.
He's like 40 years old. Yeah, he's like in his 40s.
Yeah.
because of
You know,
the-
Chris-
Oh, so
Crispy-
he's still got
Crispy.
some time left.
You know what I want?
Yeah, he got
I
the
want them to
10-year
do.
cycle, and then his ass is
want
out
a-
of here.
I want a Gears
Oh my
prequel.
gosh.
I want a Gears prequel.
So do
Like all
the
the-
Pendulum Wars. The Pendulum
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
Yes,
did.
go
They
back as
did.
far as
Dude,
you
go
want.
Back. No,
Yeah.
no.
But no,
What I'm
that's
gonna
the whole
say
point of
real
this.
quick.
It's gotta be good, man. Listen, there's nothing wrong with letting a hero die at the top
You
of the
cannot
game.
he's
kill
not
off
gonna-
Chief, dude.
Yes,
You
you
can't
can.
do it.
No,
Yes,
no,
you
no.
can.
No, listen.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you, K Mega, is that they're not going
They
to
will.
do that. Do you
Right,
know
they're
why?
not.
Because
They will.
he looked like, dude. I the only Halo I completed
He's out
like
of there.
1,000 of 1,000 was Halo 3. And the only reason why I completed it is because it involved Earth. It involved how great and crazy Master Chief is. And it really involved that. And I feel they're going right back to that. They're just involving a grappling hook. Keep in mind, you can go back to the Batman Arkham City or any of those games, and you had a grappling hook. You can feel like a god with that shit. But when he traversed two vehicles that were in air,
That's
I
right,
was like,
Mizzle.
oh,
That's
this is
all that for battle.
so-
Royale.
so-
you saying that another sport
that's in
can't
a
do that?
single player environment. They showed it as a campaign footage. That's a single player
Did I
environment.
Did I say that
Can
Chief
I
was going
talk
to die in
about
this
what
game?
I felt about the video now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can I please?
Go ahead.
Good job,
I don't
Sir
know
X
what
Man.
you're
I
talking
appreciate
about.
it.
Doom Eternal, dude. Doom Eternal is
Yo,
that
Crispy,
level,
Crispy,
dude. You feel
Crispy,
like a god,
Crispy,
bro.
Crispy. Breathe. Let Sir X Man talk, man.
yet.
Go ahead, sir.
feel like
What you
the
got on your
last
mind, bro?
child, and I'm the oldest person here. That's messed up.
Oh.
But no, I enjoyed that long video of the story. I was not really thinking it was going to be as good as what I thought. I like the graphics. I love the gameplay. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm sorry that little grapple, shoot the rocket out, and get back on another ship thing. I'm sorry, they stole that from Battlefield.
No,
They did,
no.
but it was sick as fuck,
So-
though. It was sick, though.
It was sick.
Yeah,
So
Where's
was the
that Battlefield
Battlefield
single
one.
player footage I ever seen?
Huh? What you talking about? What? Oh, now you.
If you want to play by yourself, if you want to play by yourself,
I'm gonna be playing Halo. I've got the campaign downloaded and the other one.
that's
I
not
got
what
them
I'm
both
asking you. dude.
pre-loaded. Huh? I'm
It's
still
fine,
getting
bro.
you the game.
It's
Calm
fine.
down, bro.
No, I'm talking. You're talking about Battlefield, not Halo. You ain't getting me Halo. I already got a Game Pass. I don't have to worry about that shit.
I'm talking about Battlefield. I ain't worried about Halo right now. But I'm talking about Halo though. I liked what I saw. I wanted to play I was interested in the campaign, but I saw how they polished it up and everything, and how they did the view in on the faraway textures in the gameplay. I liked it, and it's much better than what I expect. They gave it 110% to fix what the problems were. So nobody complain about it. I saw the fact that you can equip like a speed boost on there, where he can move just as fast as he did in like Guardian for a quick minute. The thrust,
Where you
right?
can thrust to the side and stuff. Yeah.
And that's cool. So I'm assuming that ability is gonna be. I'm assuming that's gonna be part of the multiplayer too, which is gonna be cool. But it has to be an attachment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't
Exactly
something
what it
that you
is.
can do all the time.
People
So
can have their
I
choice if they want it or
that.
not, which is something that I
Right.
also said.
Can I
as
finish,
well,
please,
that
Kay? I love you, bro.
I love you, bro, but shut the fuck up, man.
Make him a dude,
He's gonna
man.
buy me a
We ain't
game.
hooked up in a
man.
while, but he my dude, man.
Oh.
But what they did from what we saw over a year ago is, and I don't care what these people are complaining about. I don't know what they're talking about. It is a vast improvement from the original campaign. It seems faster. It seems more reactive. But what I saw when I saw the original one back then, over a year ago, it seemed slow, sluggish. There was no speed to it or nothing like that. It's like Chief was lumping around. This one, I see Chief moving. I see him moving. I see a lot more accuracy when he's shooting people. It just, the game has been changed to a level where, I'm sorry, people, you got to play this campaign. I didn't know if I was going to be interested, even though it's going to be a single player campaign in the beginning. I've got to play this campaign. And for those who say they're not going to play it, excuse my French, you full of shit because it's free. I'm done. That was it. I've finished. No long.
I got you. Like, my one thing I'm surprised about, like when they first showed when Master Chief jumped down to the ground, and then they showed him kind of like fighting a group on the ground. One thing I will say is like it didn't feel like the combat was as fast as Halo 5.
Talking about the original, right? The original viewing, right?
No, what they just showed just now. And another thing I thought about is like when it came down to it, I saw them like enhance when the pilot found graphically enhanced, like when the pilot found Master Chief in space and stuff. And guys, everybody in the chat,
they improved that.
Hold on. Everybody in the chat, just remember, I call things how I see it, man. I am not going to champion one side or the other. Am I excited for the game? Yes, I am. I feel like they enhanced things that didn't need to be enhanced, though. Like the first time that they showed the pilot and they showed like Master Chief in space, where he wiped the frost off the windshield and stuff like that. I didn't think that needed to be touched whatsoever when it came down to it. Like I thought the biggest thing in terms of getting in there and improving things graphically was the enemy, kind of like the enemies and how they looked, where their armor was plain, kind of really reminiscent of Halo 1. But like I see them enhancing things that I didn't necessarily think that needed to be enhanced. Did anybody get that feeling when you saw this?
They changed his
No,
armor. You need to go back and look at the
They dirtied
original
it up,
armor
man. They
that
dirtied it and
Yeah, they
Steve
dirtied it
had
up. That
compared
was
to the new one.
polished.
Yeah, because it's more dirty to make him look like he's been in one hell of a battle and like he barely survived. That's how he's supposed to look when you just see a man floating in space. Obviously, something happened to him. You know
And
what
then
I'm
also,
saying?
Yeah,
you
I hear you on that. Man.
I just
Could
look
be
at
an
it from
EMP.
that standpoint. Like adding polish to the game is fine. Like the things that needed to be touched up from what we last seen was the atmosphere, because it looked too plain. You could definitely see there's more detail in the environments. They also show some more animals.
It's not generic looking anymore.
Yeah. It had that, and then of course, like I didn't have a problem with the way the grunts looked, or it was the brutes that looked horrible. Their armor looked pitiful. But Chief himself looked fine.
Oh,
the Warthog
I agree.
looked great.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
The Warthog was hot.
Yeah, and so but it's like, they had the effects where the Warthog going through and you see the mud kick up and things like that, but the atmosphere just wasn't there. Then of course there were people that was showing clips of trees and things like that. All of that is well polished, which that was necessary. Now of course, would the game get polished over time if it was coming out last year? Yes, but it would have been ridiculed so bad, because there's no way that they would have had the time to fix the game to look as good as it
wouldn't have
looks
been right.
now. Right. So it was
right.
good. So it was a fantastic thing for them to put it in the oven and let it bake for a little while. So that's it. And my other point here, I'm seeing somebody in the chat. He's absolutely right. They killed Optimus. I was in the theater when I seen Transformers the movie, and they killed Optimus Prime.
Yeah, they did.
They killed off Peter.
This isn't the 80s.
Come on, man. This
is the 80s. In the 80s, you could kill off anybody. You can kill off anybody in the 80s. Here, we're in the 2020, dude.
Let it go.
You got another decade, Chief.
I agree.
It's out of here.
I agree with K Mega on his assessment of what he said as far as the aesthetics. The only thing I would add to it was I was kind of hoping, and I knew. I mean, you guys, we've been doing this all for a very long time, and I don't mean just if you go back gaming, we've been doing that for a very long time. But we've been keeping our eye and our ear to the streets to know what's going on in the developing, and we know when they have X amount of time and what they can get accomplished. I knew it wasn't going to happen. But I think, when Xbox, I think it was Xbox that was saying this, maybe it was Dark. It was Dark, actually. He said, I was just so excited to play in this world when I saw it. The thing I was looking for last year, I'm not going to blame them this year, because even with all the advancements they did do to the graphical capability, I knew they weren't going to be able to do this too. But the one thing, Kay, that I would say that you kind of, and in your world, maybe it doesn't matter. But when I look at Xbox Series X and the next iteration of Halo, and like we said, if it is even going to be Destiny-esque where it's going to be a continuation, like I wanted the world to feel more immersive. I wanted the trees to be blowing and everything moving and like debris going by. And when a warthog goes by, all that dust kicks up. Like I wanted some of that, and I feel like this is
next generation.
Yeah, I just feel like what you're getting here. You're getting God of Halo wouldn't do it. It's not that. It's legitimately. I feel like we're getting a very polished 4K rendition of Halo 5. You know what I mean? Or the next iteration of what we've been playing, and that's fine.
If it looked like Halo 5, it would look a lot better. Aesthetically.
Kay, you can. I can't argue with. I can't really argue with you because there's parts of Halo 5 that I thought were beautiful. I think that's what I was looking for, and I'm not saying that I was looking for it this past week. I knew that wasn't going to change.
Mooch, this is the reason why it looks the way it looks. It's because they wanted to give that the Halo nostalgia fan that.
Yeah, that's what.
We just heard what Bot said. We just heard what
Xbox says that all the time.
said. Yeah, like it feels like Halo 1. That right there, and then when you see other people that talks about Halo 3, because there's people out here who hasn't played Halo 2 or Halo 1. Their first Halo is Halo 3. So that right there, that right there is what that aesthetic look is for, is to give that reminiscent look. Now, what I think that is going to happen, now this is just me guessing, is that when they go to these expansions, they're going to start looking different. they're not. I think that they're keeping that.
Mhm.
They want to get the Halo fan in, and the best way to do that is to pull at the nostalgia.
They want to get they want to get the Halo.
They
want to get the Halo fan in. They want to get Xbox One out. Is what they'd like to do. Yeah.
Yes, right. And so what they have to do is that they got to get back the Halo team back, right? Like everybody that's pro Halo, that loves Halo, they want that fan. So
the
what
original
they had
community,
to do,
yes.
Yeah. So what they had to do is they had to make the game look more familiar to them. I think afterwards, though, with expansions, they're going to change how some of those things look because there might be other places in a different ring, or they might be going to different planets, things like that. So I'm
hoping, and I'm definitely in your group.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and I'm definitely in your category, Kay. That's everything you said. Again, I agree with. I'm hoping
and
that's what it
engine is raw, and that slip space engine is still raw and new. So just think about what they could do with it when they come with the next expansion, and they already know how everything works now because they were going through development hell there. Sound like for a little bit.
I don't think the graphics look that bad, to be honest. I mean,
it's not that they don't look bad. We're talking about the next step in the continual progression of Halo. Yeah. And
I think you just want too much, Mooch, and
I don't think that's a tree moving. I don't think that's a lot. If you guys are enjoying Far Cry like you're saying you are, like the world is moving. Everything's happening.
The trees are moving.
The grass is moving. Things are moving. There's nothing moving. When I played the multiplayer, it was extremely static.
Yeah, that's true. The trees do move, but
the one thing I will say with all this big ass stuff, there's not enough animals around here because I mean, you can walk around for a while and you don't see nothing running around, and I'm looking around waiting for a puma or a jaguar to come. I'm like, damn, it's just a cow, So it goes both ways. But
agreed.
I got what you're saying.
No, good points, Kay. I agree.
All right, well, check this out, guys. We're moving on from Halo because you know anybody knows on this channel. Once we start talking about Halo, we could sit there for like 4 hours and just keep going.
It seemed like it was 2 hours already.
It is just something.
K-Mega got one of those hours.
Halo 5 was one of those games that brought me,
I didn't even talk the first topic. Come on,
everybody
man.
together.
I know, bro.
Guys, something I want to talk about. Microsoft financials. I guess this is where the information came out, but Game Pass, when it comes to growth, was only up about 2%. A lot of people were talking, after the 18 million that Phil Spencer talked about, there was hints that 27 million, 30 million, like people were really putting these numbers out there. But then on the other side of the coin, when it comes to PlayStation Plus subscribers, it seems that Sony and PlayStation lost about 1 million subscribers to PlayStation Plus. Now, I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions on these two things when it comes to gaming in terms of financials. But I got to ask you, like, what is the bigger hit here for which company and why? So, Mooch is going to have to go,
it's not,
fairly soon or
it's
whatnot.
not, well, I mean, Xbox, it's not that either company, first of all, you have to look at it this way, okay? It's quite simple. For the past 18 months, or depending on how serious you're taking it or not, you were locked in your house. Okay, so everybody started doing a lot of things. A lot of people started adding a lot of subscription services like PlayStation Plus, Gamepass. People started adding additions to their home or doing home improvements or fixing things around their house because we were stuck in our homes. Well, now things are open again. And I'm not saying that we don't have to take precautions. We still have precautions. You have to wear your mask. You have things to do. But what I'm trying to say to you is like, numbers are going to drop now because people are like, well, I'm not stuck in my house 24/7. Huh?
1 million, though.
The million, if you actually read the article, later in the article, it says that Sony completely, that how the same thing Microsoft said this week, Sony also, that's something that they expected.
Not disappointed, sir.
It's the same thing. Microsoft was also expecting a drop in Game Pass subscriptions.
Yeah, but their Game Pass subscriptions didn't drop. They bumped up by 2%. Now that might not be the growth that a lot of people were out there talking about. But again, you're talking about there was a pandemic.
We don't know how many Xbox Live Gold did they lose? Probably the same number. Microsoft doesn't give numbers, Xbox, so you can't say 1 million's a lot when you don't know what are you comparing it against? You don't have another number.
Well, the whole thing about
Xbox Ultimate without Xbox Live
Xbox
Gold.
Ultimate is not. You can still have Xbox Gold and not Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So you're wrong.
Yeah,
Chris.
you can revert back to Xbox Gold.
You don't have to. You think everybody has Xbox Live Gold has Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? No way. So my point being is like the numbers. You can't sit here and say $1 million's a lot.
Well,
that's what you're inferring.
No, that's not what I'm inferring. What I'm telling you is that if you want to play the games on Game Pass, which that's what they're going after,
that's
have
not
to
what
have
Xbox
Xbox Ultimate.
That's fine. Okay, that's great. But what he asked was, is $1 million a lot? And I'm saying, what are we comparing it against? Xbox doesn't give numbers for Xbox Live Gold, so we don't know.
All right, but
we'll never know. That's
but,
so $1 million to be. But in the article, and I don't have it in front of me, it said Sony was. You know when they make their projections? Their projections.
Are you kidding me right now, Moach? Like, let's not.
It's in the article, Crispy. Go read it. Don't take it up with me. I don't make any money off it. I'm just telling you it's in the article.
That's not what he's asking, though. Like,
yes, he is. Well, I'm answering the question. The question was, do you think $1 million's a lot? I'm asking you, what am I comparing it against? I don't know what Xbox lost. We don't know anything on their gold because they don't say it.
Not comparing it against its own freaking property. Oh. It's comparing against something else. Collect.
Hold on.
But you have to compare it against what it is, apples for apples, don't you?
Instead of discussing of what I was trying to say, how about you just let me say it real quick when it comes down to it? So this way I can clear it up for everybody. Now, the whole thing is, right, people are running with this whole 2% growth, right? And then again, Mooch, I've seen the whole social media thing where, people were talking about, pandemics and stuff. I'm wondering how come people are running with the narrative of a 2% growth, right? Which is a growth, which means they didn't get a loss. They got a growth, and saying how that's not good enough. But then when it comes to PlayStation like losing 1 million PS Plus subscribers, that's nothing.
It's not the same category. It's a different product.
Well, I mean,
it's not the same thing.
Didn't we just talk about Xbox Live Gold, bro?
He didn't say Xbox Live Gold. He said Game Pass.
It would be. You could only compare it with
with
Xbox Live
PlayStation
Gold.
Plus.
Thank you, Dark, for actually
gives you free games.
Making sense.
That's what you're.
You cannot, if you want to compare Xbox Game Pass 2% growth, to compare it to PS Now's numbers. I don't know what to say to you.
Well, that PS Now does not compare.
Can I please explain? Can I break it down to everybody? Please,
they're two different services. Just because Xbox is melding.
Two totally different services. Let's just be ignorant about it.
No, it's right. PlayStation service can't play on Xbox service, Crispy. I love you, but it's true. So there are two different competing companies who have two different services for how they run their online.
Okay, so let's be honest for a second. Okay, so Sony can make movies and Xbox makes no revenue from that, so we could say Sony wins, right? That's the way I'm looking at it right now.
Sony doesn't.
No, you can't do that because
just because Xbox has brought a different aspect into something, it's still in gaming. It's still relevant. That's what I'm saying.
No one's saying it's not relevant, but that's not what Xbox is asking again.
Yeah. What he's asking. Can I finish explaining? Please
go ahead, X-Man.
All right. What we're saying is Game Pass and regular Xbox Live are two different things. Someone can have Game Pass without having Xbox Live, but they just can't.
That's like telling me that Amazon and Amazon Prime are two different things.
They can you can still have the $10 Game Pass without having Xbox Live. You have the ability to play some of them games, but within single player. You cannot play the multiplayer. But if you pay the other $5,
does Amazon when you purchase from Amazon, does Amazon make money? Does Amazon make money? Okay, so Amazon Prime is Amazon.
I can get rid of my Game Pass.
You're paying for Amazon Prime. You're not paying for Amazon. You're not paying for Amazon.
Okay,
I will lose all my Xbox Game Pass games to be playable, but I will still have my Xbox Live to play the games that I own digitally.
Okay, so let me just say this. Okay, so maybe there's a different way to go about this. all right, just to basically say that maybe should Sony go the same method as what Microsoft is doing, not disclose their numbers, because they've lived off the wealth of riches by touting their numbers, but slowly but surely they haven't had the best of luck this year when it comes to certain aspects of numbers talk, except or like, you know, they could say that they sold so many consoles, you know, like that, you know, at this point in MPDs and things like that. But maybe should Sony go that route like what Microsoft is doing, because that's just and that also kind of decreases the whole. It brings more wonder, but it also keeps away from that fanboy bullshit about talking about numbers and everybody being fake ass accountants. Because I really don't care. I don't care. I mean,
okay, I think you asked a good question. I think that my answer to you, this is a great side. I think it's a side question. I do agree with you. I mean, I think it would be good in the sense that it stops the nonsense of the, like you say, the accountant. Everyone's an accountant. In that retrospect, yes, I think that right now, except for the current stat that Xbox is bringing up, which we've seen over the course, and Kay, you know this, we've gone over this week in and week out, especially back in the day. Right. There was highs and lows for Xbox and Sony with PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold. That always fluctuates. So with what I'm saying to you is that, like, I think that they should stop possibly so the banter stops. I guess I would agree with you there. But I think with Sony's humble. I think they're humble. I think they well, no, they're humble because they're down. Dude. When they're down, they say it. And when they're up, they say it. Xbox. Why won't Xbox?
I don't know if I can say humbled, bro.
Yeah, they're not humble. They're just lie to you, pretty much. But they'll spin.
Well, if they're lying, why say they're 1 million subs or 1 million subscriptions?
That was an article that was dropped.
They're shareholders, bro.
Yeah, from the shareholder information. So
they didn't put it out.
Well, if they're
Sony didn't put it out there. It was the gaming news that put it out there, because I was one of the people that seen it and I posted it. And I put the eyeballs on it. And
when Xbox said it was down, when Xbox said that, I thought that we're saying that's what was revealed by Sony.
No. This is what I think. This is what Xbox is bringing up, and I know where he's going with it. Is that where's that same energy when it comes to
pretty much
Game Pass didn't meet these expectations. Well, why is it that there's not Sony fans that's talking about the same thing? Because it is still a service.
Yeah, and I get that, and that's what I said. But at the same time, we don't know how many Xbox Live Gold memberships dropped.
But I'm not talking.
Or went up. We don't know.
Can I get in on this? All right, I understand what you're saying. Where Xbox Live Gold is comparable to PlayStation Plus. All right,
that's service for service. Yes.
What I'm saying here is people are grabbing pitchforks and torches for a 2% growth because it's not the growth that it was supposed to be. But then when it comes to
that's a different question. Then, do you want if you want to talk about that, then poise that question. You can leave the million out of it. To answer that question is that.
Well,
you're 5 years into, what is it, 2017 till now? What is it? I mean, 4 years into, let's just say 4 years for the benefit of the doubt, into Game Pass. And to be at 18 million with a 2% growth, I'm telling you right now that I'd be fairly confident that Microsoft would have liked to seen a much larger number by this point. And they announced that they announced day and date games a while ago now, so the anticipation's there, the hardcore's there. They would have liked to have seen that number rise. And I think that 2%, I think where you're hearing is that, and you've got the media behind it now. You've got influencers behind it. I mean, you can't say Xbox is getting negative press. I mean, they've gotten outstanding press as of late. And I think that it's not anywhere like what me and Kay went through in 2013, 2014, 2015. And, to be honest with you, that 2% is extremely low. And now with the pandemic, like I said, coming, more closer to an end and people going out more, the subscription base, whether we're talking Disney Plus or you're talking any of them, have probably seen a dip since last year. So now when you see only a 2%, right? They're all taking a dip.
But Game Pass didn't take a dip though.
But that's what I'm saying. Bot is right.
2% is pretty much, it's like an even. It's you're pretty. I mean, you want to say they're up, they're up. I'll give you that.
But to be even when other subscription services hold on. To be even when other subscription services have taken a hit. That would sound more like a positive at that point in time than anything else.
I go back to my original statement then after Kay's point, which was I believe Microsoft would like to have seen a larger number than 2%.
Right.
An
No,
example for
and
you
you're right.
guys.
They had expect. Hold on. Let me make this point.
All
They
right.
had expectations, and but the one positive, and I know where Bot's going with this conversation. It just didn't go there because you counteracted it perfectly. So Mooch, you still have it.
Oh
You
my
still have it.
God.
But the one thing that I will counteract against you, one thing too is that you said 18 million. It's 20 million plus, because if you add the 6% of what they were trying to get with the 37% that they got, when it was high for them last year,
I'll go with that, Kay. I was only using the 18 because that's Phil's last words.
That was, right. And I got you, because that was actually quoted from somebody. So now I got you. But this is the thing here is that, like, okay, so when you look at the growth, when you look at Sony, and it's nearly not that big of a deal. $1 million is a lot, but it's not substantial enough to where we could just clown it to where it's like, oh my God, like people are just leaving this shit in droves. But when you compare it to what Game Pass is, in this sense of where growth, where everything is decreased over the pandemic is still here, but it's not anywhere like it was last year. Game Pass is still sustaining while this service is not. And that what Bot I wanted to have the conversation about. And so I know that's where he was going. You know what I'm saying? God damn it, I knew.
Right.
Another thing with this Game Pass stuff. Another thing with this 2% and Game Pass stuff. I actually feel that with them coming out and really not having the one big AAA first party game got delayed for a year, right? They haven't had any big first party game drop within this new generation. We have Forza Horizon 5 right around the corner as well. And the thing is, there's people that love that negative news and stuff like that. And it's like, well, guys, you're
it's on
talking
both
about
sides,
this.
Xbot. You know that.
Yeah, no, I know that. But you're talking about this.
Just look at the chat.
Right before the first major AAA first party game is dropping, that is getting nothing but praised.
Right.
In within the gaming community, when it comes to the people that call themselves professionals in terms of journalists, into the community, the streamers that actually had a chance to play their demoed version and whatnot, and it's like, well, this is such a fail, and it's like, well, hold on, you're right around the corner from the first AAA releasing, and they at least sustained their numbers, and they didn't drop throughout that time where they didn't have a first party game dropping like that. I actually think, I'm like, wow, they were able to sustain that with their deals with Outriders and Destiny 2 going into Game Pass and stuff like that. And it seems like they've navigated their ship through the storm, and now you're starting to see their studios come out with games. And
I think that's a positive. I think that's a positive approach too, Xbot. I don't think you're wrong in your assessment at all. I think that and Microsoft kept steadily. They did a lot of different promotions for Game Pass, and they kept things relevant. You're not wrong, but then again, I know people aren't going to agree with me. That's fine. But like Forza Horizon 5, for example, I don't think is going to drastically move the needle in a massive
way. Well,
yeah,
it will.
It will. I don't think so.
Forza Horizon,
I don't.
Forza Horizon's gonna move the needle, bro.
Play, bro.
I don't think Forza Horizon's going to get 10 million people to jump on day one. I don't.
If it doesn't, please
Halo will, but
Halo will. So it's funny. So
guys,
Dark.
At least
So Dark, I'll say this much, Dark. So Dark, I thought Halo's the one I think will, but Halo multiplayer being free to play.
Great point.
Means you don't need to have Game Pass.
That's true.
And that's what. And if you look at all the streamers and the influencers, they're going to be playing the multiplayer. So that's
they're going to get a lot. They're going to recoup their money.
It's going to go up, Kay. It's going to go up. I said major, like pendulum swing. I don't think you're going to see major. You're definitely going to see an increase. That's without a doubt.
We definitely talked about that on GRG, and I was making a point of saying, like, because we was making guesses of where we think the Game Pass is, and I was saying, like, look, it's definitely going to go up. because of just the two games that's going to be coming in here. But next year is when it's really going to take off. Because Stalker is going to come. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to drop, and it's going to drop on Game Pass. That's a fact. Quote me on it.
When is that coming? When is that coming?
Hey, that announcement might come on the 20th, brother. I mean, on the 20th anniversary. But anyway, I do want to ask you this though, Mooch. This right here. Like, if you look at it from this standpoint, just only talking about PlayStation, the PlayStation, was it PlayStation Now or was it PlayStation, was the PSN? Okay, it's Plus.
Yeah.
This is where I think that the problem is that Sony's PlayStation PSN has been, it's been so good that I added another year to it. And for them to have the games that they have on there, and it kills Xbox Live offerings. You would think that it would still sustain, but it isn't. It's going down. That to me is not problematic because it's a big number of million anything is a big damn number, but it's not something to where I don't think that they throwing red flags. But don't you find that to be a little problematic to see that those numbers is going down with the quality of games that they've added to PSN?
I think when you talk about the quality of you're talking about the free games you get every month.
Yeah, the free
games we go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you make a good point with that. But again, we have to go back, Kay, to what we initially said. And that is the fact that we're coming out of a pandemic, and that the numbers were inflated across the board. All services. This is not a gaming. This is across the board. Those numbers were inflated. So now, when you say 1 million, I agree with you. 1 million of anything is a lot. But when you're talking about 1 million here in this particular case, we don't, whatever they exceed. Let's say they were normally sitting at somewhere around 56 million PS Plus users, right? And they I'm making this. These are completely made up. And they went up to, like, let's just say 62 million, which they never would have hit that. But because of the pandemic and nobody moving, they spiked by whatever that percentage is. You know what I mean? 10%, 12%, 15% up. Now they lost 1 million. Is 1 million that bad now?
That's
not
why
really.
I'm saying, no, it's not that bad.
So I don't know that. I can't. I'm using
game,
to answer your question in short.
Continue to go up. That's the point.
Yeah, you would think that it would. But
I don't think it would go up though. Okay, you're leaving a pandemic.
Because you leave the pandemic. Okay.
That's my answer to you without knowing where they were before the pandemic, where they spiked to, and where they ended up. You know what I mean? All I know is they're -1, but I don't know the delta between where they were and what they got to through the pandemic because they all surged. Disney Plus, HBO Max,
everything
surge. Now that all that HBO, remember all the HBO Max movies that were going to go their day and date? That contract's about to run out. Everything's going back theaters.
It's
the
HBO
Max is going to plummet.
It'll be a
in subscription base.
day.
So then when you find out, HBO Max comes out and says we lost 2 million. Is that bad? Well, I mean, HBO Max is probably still pretty happy with their subscriber base, but I'm saying we don't know what that spike was. So I guess that's my answer to you, Kay.
That's kind of irrelevant.
That's a good answer. I think that
to talk about that, like most people with HBO Max are going to probably stick with that subscription because it's only going to be 45 days before that movie comes out of theaters and goes right to HBO Max. So I think a lot of people with families and stuff like that, they'll keep their.
I'm saying
enjoy Doom.
Are you talking about WB? Because that's most of the movies that have come out, which is
WB.
part of HBO.
Right, and I think
that's a part of HBO.
But that's going to end soon. That deal ends soon.
It's not going to end because it would go to Discovery Plus, and that's where they're going to make the money.
It ends with the day and date.
The day and date is what I meant.
HBO is WB. Like you guys realize this, right?
Right. No, but what I'm saying,
but all the movies,
45 days. When the movie hits theaters, is going to be 45 days that it'll go. Then it'll go.
People will sit on their ass and gladly pay the subscription to wait for the movie.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
How long is that 45-day thing going to be in play for?
Apparently for at least a year.
They don't make money anymore.
It's not going to be forever, though.
Right. It might not be forever.
Make money.
It's not going to be forever.
That's what
it's not going to be forever. No, because the numbers show, and the Black Widow lawsuit proves that they didn't make as much on the day and date or the 45 days later. They want to make their cash cow in the theaters. And Dark, you went into deep discussion on this because you're in the movie industry. That's absolutely 100% true.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
want
they
to make
wanna-
their
they
money
wanna
in the
make
theaters.
their
So if they have the 45-day deal, I'm not saying that's not. I understand. I know what you're
Because
talking
they
about.
make more
I
money
think
off
that's
of the
time.
theaters than they do. Off the
Right,
streaming.
absolutely. Now, when you said it's going to go to HBO, guys, since the 1980s, movies have gone from blockbuster hits in the theaters, eventually making their way to HBO. Okay, since Ghost with Demi Moore. Okay, it's all in there. I mean, but my point being is, it doesn't matter. That's not the conversation piece. I think that 45-day thing. Dark, you know better than I. You're in the business, but you gave us an earful on Crossfire one night that really got into like how the movie theaters want the movie industry wants movie theaters to be the sole way you entertain for at least whatever the original pre-pandemic days were.
I think those days is over. I think that they're gonna have to make sure
they're not
gonna have
over.
to evolve.
I don't think that's over at all, Kay.
But I think
it's not
studios
like
do want it
officially.
to end.
It's not officially over.
Movie studios do want the movie theaters to go away because they can make more money.
Right,
by,
they can make more
by
money.
charging
Right.
people
Completely
to
go
watch
away.
the movie at home.
But it won't
I don't
happen.
think it'll ever go away. But anyway, my whole point to this is in that, and I'm going to be done with it. It's just saying, look, PlayStation, I think needs to implement PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus with PSN and just call it and add another $10 to it and call it a day.
I don't have any problem with what you just
They need to do that.
prescribed, Kay. I don't have a problem. Why not give that option to put that service combined with it? I think that's fine.
Yo,
Right? No, yeah.
real quick, shout out to Stanley Buffington hitting up that super chat. Thank you so much, brother, for the support. He says PlayStation services was up 4.7. I think he wants to say million, but he just put a dollar sign at the end. But 4.7 billion. I don't know.
Year
Like,
over
are
year.
we
That's
talking
what he's
year
talking about.
they were up.
Year over the year.
They were up.
Yeah, but he's asking if
well.
we're talking about year over year
No.
when it comes to the 2%, when it comes to the
No.
1 million.
That's
No,
a
we're
different
not talking about
conversation
that
too.
stuff. Yeah, it's
Different
different.
conversation. Yeah. Okay, can we move on? Because I got
Okay.
one more. Yeah, just one more.
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right. So
yeah, one more because before I got to go because I got to get this surgery. So you know what I'm saying in the morning.
All right. Well,
Early.
let's talk about state of play then. Unfortunately,
Let's go.
Unfortunately, I've worked 12-hour shifts 6 out of the 7 days prior to up to today. I actually haven't had a chance to really get in and check out state of play. I did.
You didn't miss anything.
I did
you
see
don't need
what
to.
a lot of people were talking about though, like Death's Door is coming to PlayStation, which
Yeah.
that is a good game that I actually have to get back into as well. I have so many games to play, man. It is ridiculous. But I don't know. Thoughts and opinions on state of play. Now, Mooch, you kind of started talking first, so.
I didn't care for it at all. I thought it was. But
it was more third party,
two.
right?
Oh, go ahead, Xbox. Let me let you
it
ask
was
the
more.
question.
It was third party, kind of like centric.
Correct.
Okay, so what did you think, bro?
So there's two ways to look at it, and you guys know this. Whether we're talking about state of play or the former Inside Xbox, there's two ways to kind of judge these things. So as far as the showing itself, AAA excitement, can't wait. I'm going to go pre-order this. Wasn't there. There's nothing there that really interested me outside of, I think, what was it there? Deathverse looked okay, I guess. I probably won't play it. And that's right. No, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And there was another game that I thought, the Little Devil Inside, I guess the same way that I was enthralled with The Ascent, and I played The Ascent and I beat The Ascent. I might look at that. I have to see more to say I'm going to actually play it. But outside of that, it was just what they said it was going to be. It's just a third-party indie reel. It is what it is. So there's two ways to look at it. To answer your initial question, I didn't think it was very fun, or to me, the words I tweeted out was it was very lackluster. But at the same time, it wasn't Sony's E3. It was just them doing their like Nintendo does this. Shout out to Spawnwave. I always watched Spawnwave's live reactions. During all the Nintendo Directs. And I can tell you that 1 out of every 4 or 5 Nintendo Directs is exciting. And the rest of them are kind of like, okay, here's some stuff that's coming to Nintendo Switch. Okay. I usually leave and I'm like, I'm almost, I'm never speechless. You can ask Kay and Xbox. But right? But at the same time, this year, there's not a lot to say about it. It wasn't anything that I think a lot of people were excited about. And I also didn't go into it thinking it was going to be like Xbox's E3 or Sony's E3 showing. This was supposed to be just, hey, this is Sony. We're keeping in touch with our fan base so people don't keep saying you don't talk to us. Here's what we're playing. Here's what we're planning to give you guys, et cetera, et cetera. And it's kind of filler. So to be honest with you, Xbot, if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't know you missed anything.
I mean, it is definitely reflective of the fact that when it comes down to it, Sony doesn't have anything really big releasing before the holidays. Anything that they have has already kind of been put out there, right?
Yeah, they're the same way, we
they
heard
have Solar
the
Ash
Xbox
in December. They do have that.
They have what?
Well, yeah, but that's not
Solar
that's
Ash.
not. I know what that is, but I don't think that's what Xbox is talking about. Is big banger. But real quick, I think the same thing that I heard from the Xbox camp last year, I think Sony's going to do. I mean, next year, Sony's slated to have a lot of whoppers. You guys all know it. We've mentioned the games tonight. There's a bunch of games coming out next year, and that's what they're going to combat against Xbox next year. So, when people say, Sony doesn't have anything this holiday, that's 110% right as far as big bangers go. But if you stop and think about the last year, and I'm a day one owner of an Xbox Series X, and I'm a day one owner of a PS5, I played more PlayStation 5 exclusives in the past 12 months than I did Xbox games. Or Xbox exclusives. So my point being is that Sony is going into this holiday with kind of like their hands open, but at the same time, there's also people that are going to be, I'm going to use everyone else's words. There's going to be people getting Xbox Series X's and people getting PlayStation 5s, and people who are getting PlayStation 5s this holiday are going to be able to play Demon's Souls and Ratchet and Clank and Returnal. You know what I'm saying? And the other games that they had come out that were exclusive to the console at the time. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, that's the answer Sony would probably give you if you had a rep here. I think that Xbox has got, this is their Christmas that combatants last year Sony's Christmas when Xbox didn't have anything. So, that's kind of the way and Sony can kind of do that. They're up right now and they're doing all right. And then next year they're going to have Horizon. They're going to have God of War. They're going to have Gran Turismo. And they might have something else we don't know. I don't know. So, like I say,
I
don't even know what he says sometimes. Yes, allegedly when they said they're coming out.
You did know. Oh, okay, I'm just making sure.
Crispy.
You didn't know that God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7 are coming out next year?
I said allegedly because they keep freaking pushing their damn dates back. They said it was coming out this year. God of War Ragnarok, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
No, they just put a.
They said 2021.
2021.
They didn't say.
Oh man, let's go to the next year.
No, I'll give Crispy that, but I mean, if you really think, Crispy, that we want to use the word allegedly with those three titles, I sorely think that you're going to be disappointed because those three games are coming out next year.
Possibly coming out for PC after they just made a total different surname to PlayStation PC.
Boy, you hate Sony.
No, I'm asking you.
He does
out there.
Because
Xbox, he really does. Wow.
Because Xbox does the same thing way longer before, and somebody like you goes and trash that.
I don't do that at all. You just clump people together. I don't do that.
Clump people
together. He doesn't do that. It's the other one.
Yeah, you guys have this depiction of me. That's Xbox on my show every week. Dark's on enough. Sir X-Man listens every week and has been on. I don't say that at all.
He doesn't.
All right.
It's the other one, Crispy.
Yeah.
All right. So hold on. Let's get back to state of play here. Dark, did you get a chance to check it out?
Yeah, that fucking trash, dude. Dude, what the fuck was that, man? That fucking the beginning of the Death verse Let It Die, that looks so fucking stupid, dude. That fucking game looks like fucking hot garbage on a fucking hot summer day in the desert.
What game are you talking about?
I'm talking about that first game that stupid. They look like a retarded version of fucking what's that fucking game that came out for the Xbox?
The Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge.
The greatest.
It looked like Fallout, man. Bleeding Edge. I'm telling you, that's what it looked like.
This game looked terrible. Okay, but they showed a couple other games. I was like, oh my god, dude! I just skipped right through it. I skipped through most of the thing, and then they got to Star Ocean, and I was just like, okay. I was kind of like wondering what what the game was, but the game doesn't like graphically doesn't look good. But I'm sure it's probably going to be a pretty good game because usually Star Ocean games are pretty good. So that one was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll probably play that when it comes out, you know. And then Death's Door was going to come, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's awesome. I already played it on Xbox, so I mean, you know, I don't need to play it on PlayStation.
I like that
but maybe
car
I'll
on the screen, but that's cool.
maybe I'll double dip, but then also they showed what Little Devil Inside, and I was all like, I liked what they showed the first time.
Yeah.
This time, I was all like, ugh,
Really?
this looks. Ugh.
Oh man, I gotta see.
I don't know.
I gotta see that because I was.
I don't know,
interested in
dude.
that.
I'm not really keen on it. To
You
be
mean
honest,
the Little Devil Inside?
Yeah,
It didn't. I didn't think it showed as well as the E3 showing they tried to portray.
Yeah, the E3 showing was way better. Like this, it looked more open world, kind of like, you know, like that kind of thing, or maybe not open world, but like sections are open, and this didn't look like that, and I was just like, it disappointed me quite a bit, and they didn't even give a release date anyway, so it's just like, okay, well, this is probably far out there or somewhere, you know, it'll probably come out next year sometime, probably later on in the year or whatever, but it just there wasn't anything there that was like, oh my god,
seemed
you know, and I wasn't
spiritless.
expecting that. But
Yeah.
I was at least expecting somewhat of a decent show, and they didn't even do that. You know, it was just like, okay, you know, like it was very like, ugh, like it felt
And
like
that-
it
and
felt
that
like
was like
it
the
felt like
star
one
of the
the
show.
Xbox-
Yeah.
It felt like one of those Xbox shows that they used to. It felt like that State of Decay one that they did. It was just like,
Well, that's when they raised the
Oh,
question to
really?
Xbox. I think Xbox was kind of
Yeah.
alluding to is should they even have these? I mean, that's the thing. I think
yeah, they don't even.
it's
Need
the
them.
same thing with Inside Xbox. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? So if you don't do
That's
Inside
true.
Xboxes and you don't do State of Plays, people go, "Where are you?
Right.
I haven't seen you
Yeah.
say anything in forever." Then you show something because you're like, "Listen,
You
you
show
already saw
something
the
when
saw
people
the
don't.
This was
bangers at
an indie
E3.
showcase. This was
Yeah, how many
not
things are
an
you going to
indie
show?
showcase.
You know,
This is the thing for me, right? Like I
It's
looked
a
at
third
the show,
party. Where was Call of Duty? I mean, what the fuck,
No,
dude?
no,
Well,
it wasn't.
This is,
It wasn't
Why?
any
this
Call
Why?
of Duty.
this-
Nothing.
Why
this is-
wasn't there? They have
they
the
should have
marketing
shown Call of
rights.
Duty. Yeah.
Well, they don't.
They
They
should
don't
have.
do.
Yeah.
They should have, but they don't. You know that they kind of prioritize. They put a. They'll have
Sure.
like maybe three months. It seems like every cycle. Every part of the, you know, like maybe 4 times a year, they'll have one of those state of the plays that is that you know that brings out the showing what good games that's coming out.
Mm.
And you're just showing the smaller stuff because they're going into the end of the year knowing that they don't have the titles, you know, and they're going to heavily promote Call of Duty.
But if
going
you want to make
forward,
it,
probably
if
the
you want to
next-
make
the
friends,
next
if
one.
you want to make fans happy, don't do it like this. Okay, Sony,
Well,
in the
but see,
future, if
this-
you're
okay,
listening,
uh,
don't
there's
do it like
different
that.
types of fans.
All right, so I'm you know how I am. I'm complete opposite. You know how I am. You know I'm Xbox all day. You know what I'm saying? But what I do
We
not
know.
like is when people, yeah, you know that. Yeah, shit. You know where I lie. Shit. But I game on everything though, so it is what it
We
is.
also like Lock for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hashtag save lock. So I promise you, I'm going to get that man's autograph. I'm going to have him, and if I get to meet him in
Mike
person, I'm going to say,
Goldberg,
"Can you say
That'd be
this? Can
sick.
you just say
Yeah.
this?" And I'm going to have him say,
Oh, you're gonna get the actual
bust
voice
your
actor to
ass,
do it?
Otter. Yeah.
The voice actor is different from Michael Coulter.
No, I'm going
You
to
know
have
that,
Michael
right?
Coulter say, "I'm going to bust
Are you
your
gonna have-
ass, Otter."
Are you-
Anyway, no,
Oh,
anyway.
shit.
So, this is my thing with this. I enjoy any and everything that is shown with gaming, no, regardless if it's overwhelming, if it's underwhelming, because every time that I watch these things, and you guys, if y'all have listened to the next podcast, you hear me say this multiple times when we have this discussion a lot, and especially here lately with State of Play, is that there's always going to be 1 or 2 games in there that's going to make me, I'm going to play that.
Mm,
And
yeah.
the first game was the game that and I'm glad you reminded me of that, because you're absolutely right. It looked like a better graphical version of Bleeding Edge. And you know how much I enjoy Bleeding Edge, right? So
I was like,
you
this
mean-
is a
you
Game
mean-
Mega game. I said that when I watched it. I was like, Game Mega game.
Okay.
You mean Death
I was
Verse?
looking like, okay, this looks
Yeah,
nice.
Death
Okay,
Verse,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
That's-
then it was Bug Snacks, and I was like, okay, Bug Snacks is back. Okay, and then they showed Star Ocean, which I was pleasantly surprised for that to come to Xbox, because I was just knowing that was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. It just kind of shows how things have changed now and what Phil Spencer and them are doing, working with the Japanese community, gaming community out there, which I'm really excited about. So that's coming to Xbox, but that's still something that that would be a game that I would get if it was only coming to PlayStation. But since it's coming to Xbox, so I'm going to play it over there. And then the last game, look, I mean, it's quirky looking. It's weird, but it might be one of those games that because I mean, I had the same thought about Psychonauts 2. And then once I played it, I was like, oh shit, this is quality. This game should be definitely nominated for Game of the Year, for sure. So you never know with these certain titles. The other games that were shown, no, I wasn't very interested in it, but I did come away with something that I wanted to play. And that happens in any and every show that they show. That's just me as a gamer. I love that, because what Mooch said, which I'm 100% behind, is that gamers get too fickle. They sit here and they come out and they say, 1 minute, Sony needs to stop doing this because the social media is going to rip them, because it's not a baby E3 every showing, and they say, well, I just seen somebody not too long ago ask what the XO event was. An Inside Xbox. We haven't seen anything from Inside Xbox, because y'all bitched and moaned and complained about y'all that Xbox need to stop it. So listen, either you want to see gaming content or you not, because everything is not going to be AAA quality. You're going to get a lot of these smaller titles, and you would be surprised. Some of those smaller titles, for a lot of people, is going to catch somebody's attention and be a banger, for real.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because now, even worse now than it was, every year it seemingly gets a bit worse and worse and worse. Now you even have like KFC gaming.
I saw that. That
right?
was pretty funny.
It was great. It was great, but it's more of a deterrent for a state of play or Inside Xbox to exist, when not only are you going to catch shit from people who have hundreds of followers, now you're catching shit from like Wendy's and Domino's. Who's got like tens of millions of followers.
Didn't Domino's clown Craig?
Xbox. Yeah.
They did. So you're right. Like it's just feeding into the madness, when then you got some kind of corporation rep that'll come and say,
that's even harder.
That type of activity. Yeah, and it's garbage. Like, I mean, you're just giving.
It is funny. Don't get me wrong. What they said and then what they tweeted out was downright hysterical. But but let's say this panel.
But it's still,
let's say this panel was working on Inside Xbox or State of Play, and we saw that. We would not. The six of us wouldn't be laughing. Five of us wouldn't be laughing.
No, fuck no.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Dark would try to, because he's in the movie business, he would try to talk to us about how to direct it, and then it'd probably be absolute trash. And then
oh my
God.
So
I don't know what you're talking about, because I usually produce things and tell people you're fucking fired. So.
Oh my God! Note to self: don't work for Dark Optimus.
Right.
You just come in.
Right.
You come in.
That's only if you make
Dark is going to tell you you're fired.
You coming into the onto the set like, yo, where are the bagels? All of a sudden, Dark comes.
They'll just put a Trump
fucking
meme
fired.
up.
Like what did I do? Yo.
Betrayal.
Oh my God. Anyway, so.
All right, guys.
That's my point. I think it's.
I mean, that's just the easiest way to explain what I do, is that I fire people.
Okay.
When things get out of hand.
Well, Dark, just to let you know, if I ever need to fire anybody, I'm talking to you first.
Call Dark,
and you're gonna.
I'm okay with it.
You're fired.
Dark, I need you to fire somebody.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yourself. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
Fuck this
You know,
shit. I'm out.
you know who we need to fire? We need to fire Rock.
No, don't
Oh,
go there,
shit.
man. Don't go there. Come on, man.
All right. Well,
Kay's like, I got
Oh,
surgery in the
boy.
morning. I don't need this shit.
I know. I might
Guys,
die.
just- we got-
I hope you're okay with your surgery in the morning there, K
Yeah,
Mega.
thank you. You talk about locking. I was like, getting croak on the table. That's gonna be fucked up. Oh,
Oh
man.
shit! I don't wish that upon you, man.
we got one more thing on the table. So, anybody who does have to leave and stuff like that, just let me know,
Jesus Christ,
When-
Bob!
when-
How
when-
long were you going with this fucking thing?
Well, just the one PlayStation PC thing.
Okay.
And the
The biggest thing.
K-Mega, is that the Steam storefront that changed the name to PlayStation PC? Or is it
Yeah, they done that a long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
that was
while.
last year.
So,
Yeah.
It was April, I believe, right?
Yeah,
They
well-
filed a patent or some shit. Or,
Right.
Well, it
trademark.
first was up last year, but yeah, then it became official back in when you said around April.
I think it was April, if I remember reading that right.
Well, I see PMS Jordan posted last year, and
of course
then
she would.
Okay.
Of course she would.
yeah, right. And then I was like, oh shit, and then I was looking for it and I didn't see anything, and then this year it popped up, so that's what I was going to say. So yeah, so anyway, so it's kind of funny that, but because she might have been joking, so you might be right.
But basically, with all this going down, there's two questions I'm posing to the panel, and when it comes down, and I've seen people get upset about PlayStation games going to PC.
There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason to be upset about that.
Like, yeah, well, you need to tell those guys that, all right? For some rhyme or reason, man, there's people. Somebody said that they would saw their PlayStation in half if God of War.
Oh, you talk about Blaze 4K?
Yeah, Blaze. And
Yeah.
now people are waiting for him to do so
Good dude.
because you put it out there, bro. You put it out there. But there are two things here. Now, can we finally? This is one question. I'm going to put both questions out there. Can we finally agree that open source PC is different than console and doesn't necessarily affect console when the games go to both places? And what do you guys think now about the prospect of PlayStation games going day and date to both the console and PC? Who wants to grab those two questions first?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead, Dark.
I would have to say for that first one, I think it changes a little bit for people who are already on the fence of playing on console. It does, but it's only because they're like, ooh, the graphics are gonna look better on PC, or this is gonna be better on PC. For me, I could give two fucks about that shit. All I care about is sitting on a couch and popping the game in, or turning on the console and just playing the game. I mean, now because I only own digital stuff, I don't have to get up or anything. I could just fucking I want to play this game. Okay, let's just switch over. Lazy motherfucker, right?
Yeah, but all my games are digital as well, so I know where you're coming
Right.
from. So
Right, exactly. And it's so weird that that people are just so defensive about these games, man. It's like, who gives a
dude,
crap
it's
if these games...
devaluing the console, bro.
It's not devaluing the console at all, because most of the time, if you're a console gamer, you're gonna play on console. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say it. Like, if you were already going to PC, you're gonna play on PC. But if you're sitting here and you're a console gamer only, and you've only ever played on console, you might be like, oh, you know what, maybe I will go out and get a PC. But is that going to be the end all be all for you? Probably not. I mean, there's a lot of factors that you have to deal with when it comes to PC. I mean, you got drivers, you got things. I mean, yeah, you can turn that stuff on to automatic and stuff like that, and download it automatically and things like that. But You know, you got problems with Windows updates, you know, things like that. I mean, you're gonna have issues that you don't have with a console. And what was the second question? Sorry, man. I'm
No, day and date, brother. Like
day and
when it
date.
comes down to
Oh
it,
yeah,
PlayStation looks really serious about PC as well, which I
it could. I
I
mean,
think rightfully so.
like I said before, PlayStation I think is closer to day and date than they were before they when they started putting games on PC. Because I mean, they just recently bought a company that ports games to
Nixus.
PC. So I mean, they're gearing up, and I hear so many gamers saying, "Oh, if they put their games on PC day and date, I'm switching over to PC." Well, go ahead. They're not gonna care. All they care about is your dollar. That's all they care about. If you're gonna go and buy the game, they don't give a shit if you buy it on PC. They don't care if you buy it on the console. They don't care.
No,
I
because
think
it's the software. The software,
right,
like so many
right.
people
The
talk
software is
about
what
console sales, right? So many people
yeah
talk about console sales, but software is where
is where they make their
your
money.
games get funded because that's where the
Yeah.
money is made. Now, of course,
Really should have
having
started with this conversation, Xbot, to be honest with you. This
Yes.
is a very deep conversation to just wrap things up. There's a lot more layers to the onion than your two questions. Each question, if you guys ever saw Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield, each
Yeah,
question
man.
has 27 parts. So it's not exactly I have two questions for you. It's not that easy. I'm just gonna jump in there and I'm not gonna get deep into it because I mean if we get deep into it, get everybody riled up again, we're gonna be here till about 12:30 in the morning. So
yeah, I can't do that. I
right,
got a game,
you know what I mean?
man.
K will literally be doing this podcast, finishing up his thoughts as he's on the table.
Yeah,
On the
Like,
table. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like
K will be like, "Yo,
you
listen,
know.
guys, I gotta wrap it up, dude. The
I
doctor's
gotta
telling me
wrap
I
the
gotta wrap
doctor
it up."
saying, look, yeah, he's putting
Right?
the thing on my face. Like, yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
He's gonna knock me out soon, so you
Yeah.
gotta hurry
so
up.
I agree with to answer your first question about there's nothing at all wrong with what Sony's doing. They did it with Horizon Zero Dawn. They've done it with Days Gone. They're gonna do it with God of War. This is a way for them to double dip right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're going to do this. They're going to continue to do this. All of their other titles are going to go to PC. I can tell you right now. So as far as your first question, I'll answer it very top level, and that is this is just the beginning. They're all going to end up going over there. And why not? Why wouldn't you? The other part of your question is where it gets complicated. There's actually more to the other part too, but the second one gets complicated with the day and date. Everyone always says, we've been saying this forever, and Kay, you remember we say this all the time, Xbox's strength is their software. They're a software company. And Sony's strength is they're a hardware company. Well, Sony's still reliant on hardware. Sony doesn't make the money annually that Microsoft does, right? Everybody says they're a $1 trillion company. Microsoft's a $1 trillion company. They make hand over fist. They can buy what they want. It doesn't matter if it tanks. They're a $1 trillion company. You can't say that and then be like, well, $1 billion company, which $1 billion company to me and you is still extremely wealthy, but it's not a $1 trillion company. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between, being a famous baseball player and, as Chris Rock said, owning the color blue. Okay? There's a big difference between the two. So my point being is that when it comes to day and date, will it never happen? Nobody in the world can speak in absolutes. You can't. You just can't do it. I'm saying this much. For the generation we're currently in, Sony will continue to release their games on PC anywhere from 12 to 36 months. And you might go, well, where do you come up with the 12 to 36? It depends on how much money the game is making. If you have a game like God of War Ragnarok, God of War 2018, which sold 19.5 million copies, they're going to squeeze that IP. They're going to squeeze that game to get every single red cent they can, and then they're going to double dip on PC. They don't have to do what Microsoft's doing. And it's not to negate what Microsoft's doing. It's two different strategies from two different companies. Microsoft's strength is services, Azure, Gamepass, right? Games as a service. Sony's is a different avenue. They do make money on their hardware. They rely on hardware. When you watch, not only playing a game on Sony's console, when you even watch Netflix, it's a tally that they like to see. They literally want you on their box. They don't own Windows. Okay? So they don't make money off of PC like Microsoft. Microsoft is twofold. You buy a game on their storefront, they make the money on the game, which is pretty much 100% at that point, and then they make money because you have a gaming PC, which you bought Windows. They're double dipping. Sony's double dip is with the console. And us, the market, the consumer, are the ones that dictate this. If people are going to continue to go out, gamers continue to go out, and they buy God of War Ragnarok, okay, the one's coming out next year, and they sell 10 million copies, Sony doesn't need to do day and date because they know that in 24 months, 18 months, whatever they determine, they're going to get people that have a PlayStation 5, possibly double dip and go buy it on PC, or people on PC that don't want console. What option do they have? If Sony says you want to play God of War, it'll come to you in 2 years. And you're like, I'm not a console guy. I play PC only. Well, you have to eat where they put the food. And if the food's not on PC, you have to wait. People go, well, what's the difference? They can make it day one. But that's not necessarily true. You have people like me and a lot of others that have a gaming PC and a PlayStation 5. Well, I might buy it on PlayStation 5 only, or I might buy it on PC only. Now, I might double it. We had shout out to Glorious Kev, who was on Crossfire last week. And Glorious Kev is a PC gamer. He has a PS5. He goes, and he has a PS4. Or I don't know if he has, yeah, he has, but he goes, I bought God of War in 2018. I go, well, you're a great example, Kev. I said, are you going to buy God of War on PC? He goes, more than likely. I said, okay, so they're going to get $120 out of you, respectively. Right? That's what Sony needs. Sony doesn't have Microsoft doesn't care where you buy it. They have Windows. So if you buy it on PC, they get the game and Windows. See, Sony needs that second form of income. And we all say these things every week, but I don't know if we're listening.
Well,
Sony
let's be honest for a
needs
second.
To have, but Sony needs the console still. It's still relevant to them.
It's not even about that. When Microsoft was young, they were making PC games. Like they are already built for this. Like that's why they did it.
That's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's built to their service. It's built to their strengths.
You know, that's the thing. Like, you know, Sony builds TVs. Fucking, I mean, anybody had a Windows phone? Holy shit. Okay, so you know what I mean.
It was great. Don't you dare talk shit about the.
No, he makes a good point. That's the point of the matter, and it's not dismissing either one. It's you play to your strengths.
It was a joke, man.
I know, X-Bot, I know. I'm saying
my liquid cooled 950 XL was an amazing Windows phone. Just want to throw that out there, man.
This is where I go and say, Mooch. Like, think of this, okay? A lot of people oh, you know, Horizon's coming here. Hit it. Like, look, I don't hate it. Nobody hates it. Okay, like if you really think about it logically, why would you hate somebody making a company, especially because you said that they make less than Microsoft? Okay, why would you hate them? The competition that has sold hundreds of millions of consoles and done really well, and it is almost become a darling like Nintendo. Because they're the only ones left from our OG status. Like, dude, I played Sony. I was a Sony fanboy. You know what I'm saying? Why would you hate them making more money? It makes no sense whatsoever. The whole point of them making more money is to bring you more great games that you want to play.
That's right.
And that's where I hate that, you know, before this, everybody looked at Microsoft like they were fucking nuts and crazy. And it's like, dude, they're just playing into their own thing.
Crispy, you're right.
Just keep in mind real quick, okay, because everybody brings up first party. Gears of War 1 was released for PC and Xbox 360. It was released almost within a year on both platforms. That's how long Microsoft been doing. If you want to go relevant status, now, I'm not talking Microsoft Flight Simulator, none of that shit. I'm talking Gears of War 1 was released on PC, and it had 2 extra chapters in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they released it on the Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Crispy, here's the thing that people keep saying, and the problem is we're all me included. We're all in this echo chamber on Twitter, and we're all reading the same thing, and we read the same thing over and over and over again. And people are like, I thought when Xbox did it, it was bad, and now PlayStation's doing it, and now it's seemingly okay. Listen, let's go back a few years ago, and you guys know that I'm an Apple fan. Remember when Apple took the 3.5 millimeter jack off the phone?
Yep.
Courage.
They were the worst people. You know how many headphones I got in this house? I got to throw them away. And then Samsung 2 years later is like, and enjoy our new phones. And by the way, we got rid of the 3.5 millimeter jack. We'll see you later. All right. So my point being is, yes, the first person that does it, generally the shock factor's there. So you're right. Microsoft took the heat on the shock factor. Give Microsoft credit where credit's due there. But the second part of Xbox's question is really the underlying thing. Yes, there are people who don't like that PlayStation games are going to PC after 3 years. Frankly, at that point, this is my take. If you haven't played the game after 3 years, like, frankly, I don't know if you truly had interest in to begin with. You know, you can't be like, I'm a hardcore gamer, but I'm going to wait 3 years to play my favorite game. Said no one. So my point being is that if that's the case, I can't tell people how to feel. I can't relate to that. The underlying question is the day and date. I don't think because, like you said, Crispy, because Sony wants to make more money, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go day and date. Because right now, Sony is reliant on their money coming from the consoles.
Yeah.
So if that's the change next generation, we have to have another conversation. But
I
now,
think it's within a year, dude. I'm just going to be honest.
I don't think so. I don't think you're going to see it this generation. You will not see it this generation.
Now with Nixus and the way they just did this, dude, it's going to be within a year.
Okay, so this is and I'm glad, Mooch. I'm glad you're on here, brother. I'm really glad you're on here because I need some clarification. I need some clarification. Back from the BGST, the multiplayer days.
Yes.
Back when I just came on there when,
That's right.
But back in the days,
I
was holding this stance. I was saying, PlayStation's going to make this move.
Yes, you were.
PlayStation's going to make this happen. It's not. Yeah. And the point that we're going to, and I also said this, I don't know if you remember this part, but I also said this as well, is that once it happens to PlayStation, when their games eventually come to PC, then the narrative is going to change that PC is a different entity than consoles, because I also was saying that as well.
That's correct.
It's an unpopular stance when I was saying it. But now
again, you were part of the removal of the 3.5 millimeter jack.
Right. Like I'm one of those people that's like, look, man, this is if you want Xbox to grow. And in the situation,
Kay, can I say something though, Kay? And I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but would you agree with this? Part of Microsoft's strategy to immediately jump to everything everywhere is they were having low sales on first-party games.
Oh yeah, but also,
the more we put it everywhere,
right? But this was
our chance to sell it, which makes sense.
Right. No, but this wasn't a day one. Once they seen that they wasn't making sales, that they said, "Oh, we got to do something," and then they just press the button. This was already premeditated. Like when they go back and you look and see what they said about the Xbox being a beta test machine, the Xbox One being a beta test machine. That's exactly what this was. They were going to throw any and every idea at us.
Oh, they did.
They did. Well,
Exhibit A is Kinect.
Right. Well, was in the 360. The exhibit A, I would say exhibit
right,
B
that's fine.
Is Kinect 0.2 and then lie and say that it was 2.0 is like
they did. They threw everything. They threw hand motions. They threw everything at us, and we saw what stuck and what didn't.
Right.
You know, and I mean,
TV.
Well, right. Look at the whole thing with digital games.
Which I like, by the way. I missed the HDMI in like no other, by the way.
Well, I missed the picture-in-picture.
Yep.
Which the PlayStation 5 has a picture-in-picture now, which is crazy to me.
It's actually really nice, but again, it doesn't have the TV function. But that's fine, right. Whatever.
Yeah, but it's still. But that's the thing to me is that look, it bothers me where gamers always try to differentiate what's different. Do that with gaming, with everything else. Like, well, gaming is only supposed to be this. It doesn't need to grow. It doesn't need to expand. It doesn't need to do anything else. But yet, if you sit there and you're not going to go buy a damn 1998 goddamn Maytag, saying, refrigerator. Right. You're going to buy if you got the money to buy a brand new one.
Okay, that's why I said what I was saying to Crispy. Next generation, we've got to reevaluate everything and where technology is going. You're 100% right.
Yes.
Like, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say something, and shout out to the great Noof Nukem. You know, he's not going to want to hear this. But next generation, I truly believe we're going to all have to buy
digital.
We're going to have to buy an attachment that's a USB 3.0 or 4.0 at the time, right? Attachment that's going to have to end up taking our discs in,
right?
Because they're going to be discless.
Right.
So, everything is like you said. We don't listen to records no more. We don't listen to CDs no more. Everything's on a thumb drive or digital. So we are progressing with the times. So my only case was I would say that you can see that things are in motion. But again, even though what you're talking about, Kay, is technology. Technology is never going to sit still.
To go off your point.
Now, hear me out. I thought about this today because I thought we would pose this question. Let me ask Kay a question. Kay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Even if we were to go to now let's fast forward 2 generations ahead. We're talking about the PS7, okay, and the Xbox Series X-3, whatever. What I'm trying to say to you with the PlayStation, if they're still reliant on double dipping in some form or fashion, regardless if it's a box with a disc or a thumb drive or a smaller Apple TV looking unit, regardless of how great technology gets, where we can cram more power into a smaller box or a thumb drive, etc., Sony could still say, you need our thumb drive, and you have to buy it on this, and then it'll be on PC. The conversation of going PC day and date continues to get, the ball can either end or it can continue to get kicked down the road. So it depends on how reliant, because again, it comes down to the financials again. Sony, Microsoft, remember, we've all said this, but are we listening? Microsoft owns Windows. So when you buy a game digitally on PC, they're making much larger percentage because they don't have to pay for the disc and this and that and everything else. And then on top of that, you need Windows. They're double dipping. Sony, unless they find another avenue, now hear me out, unless they find another avenue besides hardware, they're going to want to double dip. Because Microsoft's double dipping. We just don't talk about the double dipping on Microsoft's side, but they're doing it. So,
I get that.
Right? My question to you is, I think whether because you were like, well, Mooks, no one buys a 1998 Maytag. You're right, and no one's going to necessarily be buying these big, cumbersome boxes in a few generations.
No,
but it may be an Apple TV looking thing or a thumb drive, and Sony could still say you have to buy it on our whatever that hardware is, regardless of how small it is. You still have to buy it there, and then it'll go to PC later.
He is dying on that hill, bro.
I'm not dying on any hill. I'm giving you guys.
He's giving his.
No, you're giving you perspective.
I'm giving you an example. I'm just giving you an example for apples. Because here's the deal: when Sony goes to PC day and date, does Sony get the double dip? When there's no console?
Yes.
But
how?
They could generate more money, actually.
Do me a favor.
Wait a minute. Why can you guys wear a tinfoil hat and I can't?
No, you can't.
So wait, what I'm saying to you is, Sony needs a double dip. If they go to PlayStation day and date, they do. They've sold everything.
I don't think they do.
Well,
PlayStation is their bread and butter.
Over to PC, right? This is why they're going to PC. This is why.
Right, exactly. This is my point. This is exactly it. It goes back to the first question Xbot answered. Asked us, which was, why do people have a problem with PC? There shouldn't be one. But they don't. They need the double dip. They need you to buy the game on console and then buy it again.
Well, okay, so Crispy, let me just finish this so I can be done because I got to go. So this is my thing right here that I can't agree with you on is because they can double dip by doing day and date because they can also do an incentive by giving which one is better? You sell a game for $70 on a PlayStation 5.
Right.
And then you come back with a 3-year-old game and sell it for $50. How are they going to? They're double dipping now, but if you could sell that game day and date both for $70, that's not going to be a lot of PlayStation PC gamers that's going to pay that $70. But there's the one.
Right, so they'll probably make less money. You're actually proving my point.
Well, no. This is the kick though.
Okay.
On PC games always come out cheaper if you get these games ahead of time.
That's right.
Every time. So, like for instance, like with Cyberpunk, you could have got Cyberpunk for $40. For $40, like 6 months before the game was released.
I have an example right now.
Okay.
Right now, I just bought. It was on sale on Steam. Finally, I've got Mortal Kombat and this expansion pack with all the DLC. I just got everything.
Well, he's talking.
I had to get them separate.
He's
no.
talking about new games.
No. Let me. Yeah, no. But
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
There's a point to this.
Okay.
It is cross-play with all consoles.
Mhm.
All my Microsoft games that I get for the PC that I play is cross-play with console. So no matter what happens, Microsoft is still making money. To play those games, you have on the console that you own. On the PC, you have to have Ultimate Game Pass. You can't have regular Game Pass.
Right.
So they have PC gamers getting Game Pass. They don't have to play online. They have to pay $5 a month still.
Right.
But they're just paying for the live. For them to play with other
10,
people, they're still probably.
Yeah.
But I'm Ultimate on the Xbox, so it don't matter to me.
Right.
They are still making money. Probably the numbers that they're talking about are just
That's not.
console
Yeah.
Game
But
Pass.
I want to go back.
They're not PlayStation,
I want to go
though.
back to K though, because
Right.
K was.
Right, I
I'm
know.
still-
And this,
I'm waiting to hear how
leads into
K.
something.
Because
This
K.
leads into
Oh,
something.
okay. All right.
This is why Sony is coming over here with some of their games. They're going to do it slower because they don't have that
Right.
deep interest
No,
I agree with
is
that.
over
that
now.
Microsoft has. But they see the money getting made with Microsoft.
They want to dip.
having
They want to
games
dip
on
their
us. They
foot in the
want
pool.
some of that money.
Absolutely.
You know,
But my question
I
to
was
K.
listening to all you guys, and I just had to really get it out and explain to you why pretty much all my Game Pass games that I can play with Xbox and or K Mega or even Crispy, if he goes, plays a game that's crossplay, that's Xbox exclusive only, like Gears, Halo, and all that stuff.
Well, that's what Crispy and I were saying. That's where Microsoft's strength is. They
Yes.
have that. But again, I want to ask Kay though, because Kay was getting to his point, and I haven't heard it yet. Was where, if there's no console, where does Sony make the double dip like Microsoft does on these IPs?
Because they can sell the games day one, not only on PC, but they can also do it on mobile, which they also are.
Yeah,
you can't play God of War on your phone. I mean, you can, but that's you know what I mean. Come on.
You will with the.
Are you guys gonna play Halo? You guys gonna play Halo Infinite on your phone?
Let me finish, please.
Come on, you gotta use the same example for both though. You're not gonna play.
Because this is where Sony can implement. But this is the reason why I think that they are using Azure, because they're going to try to implement the same thing that what Xbox is doing with xCloud by doing this with PlayStation.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure,
therefore they can recoup all that money.
Well, they're doing that now,
money.
though. Okay, they're doing that now, so it doesn't. You haven't made up the delta of loss. They're doing that now. They're doing that now.
They do take a loss, though.
No. I'm saying they're double dipping right now. Like, and I hate to use it. The great glorious Kev, he bought God of War in 2018, and he's not alone.
I'm gonna get God of War.
Now he's gonna buy it again on PC. That's twice. Sony's getting a full price from him twice.
Yeah.
Where's Sony making up for that if they let go of the console money?
Well, no. This is they still. That's the one reason why they raised the price up to $70. It's because they know that if they do that, because the price they can't.
They're not the only ones.
Well, but they're the only publisher, console publisher. They're with a platform that's selling their games at $70. Nintendo's not doing it. Xbox is not doing it.
Well, Nintendo's charges $60 for, a lot less graphical performance than we're getting on these two consoles. So, that's kind of still a lot of money, right?
That is still a lot of money, but still, regardless. But that's the point, that they're still going to be selling their games for $70. And the one thing that Dark said that is absolutely correct is that console gamers are not going to jump over to hell. How many PlayStation fanboys out there, stands out there, went out there and stopped out there, was going to buy a big gaming PC rig, and we still haven't seen it.
A lot of people say that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
that's
not going to happen.
That goes back to Dark's point of, if you're going to play on console, you're going to play on console.
Right. So I feel that there's one more gaming console generation after this one until the kids are, because we'll be old as fuck at that point. So therefore our voice don't matter. So at that point, all digital will be all in. Yeah. Well, yeah. and we could be like Moof sitting on that rock and say, well, on my day I had a disc. That shit ain't gonna matter no more. Get out of here, but hold on.
I guess the technology again. The technology you speak of, Kay, is true, and you can see Sony is definitely going to be putting majority, if not all, their titles on PC, and whether it's 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months, again, that's up to them. You're seeing it. You're seeing a fluctuation.
Death Stranding came over to PC. That was a
Death Stranding didn't do God of War numbers. You know, they even said, if you remember the article that came out, they said that Sony was a bit not happy with the numbers coming out of Death Stranding.
No, I know.
And the same thing goes for Sackboy.
Yeah,
so my point being is that when you see the lower tier, right? When you see the lower,
you just made my point, because it's only going to be when you got like, okay, let's look
but
at
they
this,
still make more, okay, by doing
it's
two spots.
I got that. But let's just look at this overall. There are like 7 to 8 big time Sony games, right? Okay, but there's only 3 that really is the ones that generate that money. Maybe 4. You could put maybe say 4. Right.
Yeah, I'll roll with you. Yeah.
Right. That's why they might consider we might be both right in a sense, right? Yeah. I say that, like, for their big 3, they might hold off for a little while, but for the rest of them, for the other 4 or 5, they should put them day and date, because they can still make more money, because they're not going to ever get those same type of numbers like they will with the big 3. So that's why I still think that it's
Kay, you know what, Kay, you bring up a good point, Kay. I'll go that far, but I will say this much. Again, it's like if you have a pizza joint, right? And all of a sudden you say to me, I'm doing really well at this pizza joint. If you open up another one down the road, you know what I mean? You're going to get double. So I get that. But the point of the matter is, you're going to make a lot of money on that exact console, and then you're going to make it again. Because here's the thing. When you're a PC gamer, you've already said, right? We're talking in hypotheticals, but if you're a PC gamer, you don't have an Xbox and you don't have a PlayStation. So you are dependent on that particular game coming to the PC. So I understand what you're saying, but they would make more. Because even if they made only $1 million, like Ratchet and Clank, right? The first month sales, they said they did $1 million. Okay, regardless of whether you think that's a lot or not, that's another conversation. But $1 million, right? Now, let's say they wait till they release Ratchet and Clank on PC next year, 1 year, 12 months after, and they made $2 million. They made, pardon me, 2 million sold on PlayStation 5. Well, if you're dying to play it on PC, you're not going to buy a PS5. You've made that very clear. So now you're going to buy it and play it. They still got the 2 million over there. Now, some of those PS5 owners have PCs. They would have bought it on the PC and not double dipped. But now a lot of PS5 owners, like Glorious Kev, shout out to Glorious Kev, he's going to buy the God of War. There's more of that situation. They'll get more in the twofold if they do console first than that. Because,
like I said, ordered on PC the God of War. Right. I never had a chance to play it.
Well,
so now
actually,
you're
in
a higher resolution than the PS4.
I'm going to be honest for a second. Most people say that PlayStation makes great narrative-based games, regardless of we won't even bring in all the other attachments to it.
Right.
They make great narrative-based games. They make movie-like experiences. Correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
So, what do you go off of? You have the quality, the visuals. I mean, it's hard to argue when you go like, Halo versus God of War or something like that. It's hard to argue with that, okay? Those visuals, all that stuff, it's kind of like null and void. It's like, okay, you're in a single-player environment. You're doing this. This is what we give. This is what you get. And that's it.
Right.
And then, what they can do is, okay, let me just put it this way. Have you ever watched the way Five Guys? Anybody had Five Guys? How many on this panel had Five Guys?
Five
Guys. Burgers. Okay, maybe you had a bad franchise. Maybe you had a bad franchise, but they have developed a giant following, like a crazy amount. Yeah. They're like
not as good as
1,200 franchises. They're about to add another 1,200. Okay,
right?
They're not messing around. They give out a quality product. It's very simplistic, just like Sony. Sony's very simplistic. They do exactly what they do, and they do it really fucking well. They do it really freaking well, okay? So if you release PC and PlayStation at the same exact time at $70 a piece, you know what I'm saying? and you go and say, okay, this person's buying, this person's buying. All of a sudden, you've doubled the amount of sales in one day compared to what you ever had.
All I'm saying, Crispy, is the people that you're saying are going to buy on PC are always going to buy on PC, whether they buy it day 1 or they buy it day
That's
181.
not necessarily true.
Well, yours isn't necessarily true either.
No, I have a kid in my house that it plays.
We can't
on
use
Gamepass,
small census. Yes, I know, but I say this to Xbot all the time. We can't use my kids. We can't use a small census of people.
He's
be like,
14 years old. I mean,
no, I meant like a
small.
I meant a small number of people. So what I'm trying to say to you is this: like
I don't think that's true.
The other thing that Glorious Kev said that was really interesting because he's a PC gamer. Is he had said that like when you look at the top 5 games played on Steam, it's like Dota and League of Legends and stuff like that.
Right.
When you look at Horizon Zero Dawn sold like 1.5 million or something out the gate, or something like 2 million. Like that's not a lot of copies. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. Like the PC gamer, we're all in this ecosystem on Twitter, and we think that this is the say all end all. PC gamers are like the League of Legends and Dota, you know what I mean? And they do play, like, of course, Far Cry and things like that as well.
They play Xbox games.
Some, yeah. But my point being is,
you made your point, Mooch. Those are single player games.
Can I just?
PC
They don't play. They play.
console
PC is more multiplayer games, and I think that's why Sony can have their big. Their big cake and eat it too. They can have the PlayStation, which God of War sold 19.5 million. Then all of a sudden, God of War goes over to PC and they sell what? Let's say between 2 and 5 million.
They're gonna sell more than that.
That was the same. Whatever. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I'm saying if they do that, that's the same number they were going to sell anyways, because that's the number that people were going to buy anyways. PC is not necessarily indicative of the 19.5 million sold on PlayStation. They're going to get it on there, and then they're going to double dip and get it again. What I'm saying to you is that by putting them on both day one, if somebody was going to double dip, they hypothetically might not now. They'll either buy it for PC day one or PlayStation. They're not going to buy it again twice.
Right, but
it came out.
Hold on. They can just wait till the summer sale and buy it be it on Steam.
Yeah, and then they get it for $3.50. That ain't the same amount of money. That ain't the same amount of money, though.
Oh my goodness.
That ain't the same amount of money.
Guys,
stop that.
Come on, Kay. You can't do that.
Yo, I got something here.
It's $9. I just seen it. It was like $9.
They gave it away for free. I told you they squeezed. Kay, you got to listen to me when I say everyone's already ready to argue before they listen. I said they squeezed the IP till there's nothing to get out of it.
Check this
out. They squeezed that thing to death, and now they're going to put it on PC. Where now on PlayStation they were getting nothing. They were getting nothing, and now they'll get 5 million. That's business. They're doing. Believe me, they know what they're doing. Like they're not.
It's crazy. It's hampering them.
And my doctor's about to call me. So.
All right. Well, yeah. Xbox. I said the same thing, Kay. I was like, Xbox. We got to wrap this up by 10 o'clock. Here it is 11 o'clock. The longest next podcast of all time.
Can you guys hear?
Oh no, this is not.
It's not. No, I know it's not.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because I'm like, hey.
Dark Optimus is over in California. He's about to have lunch.
All right. Well, check this out. Just real quick on the approach of day and date, Mooch. Just to let you know, Matt Piscatella came out and said when it comes to PC gamers, only 8% own a PS5. So therefore, 92% of gamers out there. If you go day and date, that's 92%.
Ask Matt Piscatella, why did Horizon only sell 1 million copies then, or 1.5 million copies? They should have bought a lot more.
Because it launched like crap. That's probably why.
Well, maybe. Well, it did launch like crap. But
I'm saying.
Too long.
There are numbers there. There are numbers there that could, day and date, 92% out there potential consumers that wouldn't consume.
Those are great hypotheticals. We don't know. It's a good point, but until Sony releases more and we have more of but like I said, the numbers right now.
He's an insider. Come on, now.
Insider. All he's reporting to you is the numbers. He's like an accountant.
He's a double
insider. He's just reporting numbers to you.
Information than anybody on this panel right now. So I mean, you got to take his word for something.
I didn't say he was wrong. He's throwing figures at you, and then you interpret the figures. Listen to what Xbox said. He gave you a statistic.
And 1 hour later, Mooch is still here.
He gave a statistic. He gave you a statistic.
That's the way Mooch is, though. When you start talking,
you can talk when he gets on something. He be going, boy. I love it.
You can talk a statistic.
This should have been the first topic because I
did not realize.
But wait a minute, I made a good point. He gave a statistic, and I said if you're going to say 92% of people that don't have PS5s. You
But
say
then
PS5,
you just
right?
do the same thing.
Yeah, I
by
said
giving
PS5.
The reasoning why
33%
why shouldn't be day and
have
day?
a PS4.
No, I
You
said
just-
that they'll make more money doing it. If they weren't going to make more money doing this, Sony would do it the same way. They know they can double dip.
They're going to. They're just spoon feeding it. Then now they're going to start.
Okay.
I
said, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. See, this is what happens.
Now,
We go around in a circle, then you say something, and then it's like, well, you didn't say. Listen to me for a minute. Listen to me. I've been doing this too long, too, okay? Hear me out, okay? My point being is this, okay? What I'm trying to say to you is this. I already agreed with you that at some point in time in the future, it's possible. It's possible. What I'm saying to you is, I don't believe in the PS5 era you will see that. Now, if you want to talk PS6, PS7,
when Starfield comes out, PlayStation will launch.
You got to do with this.
PC.
That had nothing to do with that.
What's Starfield? Yeah, what are you talking about?
what does Starfield have to do with Sony's financials?
All right, so and what I'm saying to you is that
That's like a timestamp.
what I can agree with is that with the big three, they might hold them longer. But for the other titles that Sony's going to bring, for them to generate the money or try to hit the numbers to try to see if this game is going to progress or not, I think that they're going to have no choice but to be day and date, because those games, like let's say Returnal, for instance, Returnal did what, 500 or some thousand? Well, if Returnal went day and date and then all that hype, see, that's another thing that you're now thinking about as well, is that when Returnal came out, there was a lot of hype behind it. Well, if that game was available day one on PC, I guarantee you it would have got to a million
that kind of game. That's
higher.
PC players kind of game. It really is.
Absolutely.
Right.
So guess what?
True.
They'll make their 500,000 on PlayStation 5, and a year later they release it on PC. What's the problem with that? What's the problem with that? No, okay. What is the problem with that?
With it.
That's
no
what.
problem
Thank
with
you.
it,
That's it. You can wrap up the show right there. There is no problem with it. That's all I'm trying to say to you. I'm not saying I don't believe it's going to go to PC. I said to you
day and date?
because they can double dip. K. How many times? Hey, here's something you're not thinking about. Xbox One, after a year on the market, sold 10 million consoles. Now that they're doing the day and date thing, now they're at 8 million. They've sold less consoles. PlayStation's at 13.4. That's 400,000 less than the PS4 during the pandemic. They're on mark to kill what they're going to do on the PS5. So now you've got a point here where the games coming to the console first does impact the console sales and gamers buying. It's a fact. So it is what it is, Kay. So what I'm saying to you is your Returnal example is a good example. Your good example.
Date, man. You can't, when it comes to the Xbox
listen, you want to use numbers, we're using numbers. All I'm
Real
saying to
quick.
you is that now you've got a situation where Xbox One, with all that bad press, and Kay, we lived through it.
I know, but they came off the
sold
360
10 million
era, which
after
was
the
the
first
most
year.
popular
Now they're at
Xbox
8 million.
era.
Okay, and the reason being is because you can buy their stuff anywhere. There's less double dipping happening. And Sony sees these numbers. You can disagree all day. You can disagree all day.
Right. But it just the math. The math is fuzzy, brother, because you're saying that.
So's yours. You said, Returnal would just do better. My point is,
it would do better if it was day and date. It would definitely.
But it'll do better whether it'll do just as good a year later on PC, because if PC gamers want to play it, they will play it.
They'll buy it.
Because they can't buy it anywhere. They can't buy it anywhere else, dude.
Buy it, but this is the one thing.
That's my point. You just proved it. That's all I'm saying.
All right. My last point, Mooch, because you're just not getting it, right?
Well,
all right.
I do get
it. There's a game that I've been wanting to get, right?
Yes.
And that's Attack on Titan. I've been wanting to get that game forever, right? Been waiting for a long time. That price don't drop. And if that price don't get to a certain point, after this game is what? 3+ years old? I'm like, I'm not spending no goddamn extra money for this old ass game. You don't think that there's going to be PC gamers that's going to say the same thing? There is, yes. There's going to be people that's going to be like,
console gamers complaining about $70. The complaining about high-priced games, Kay, is never going to end.
But if a game is and this look at like we'll talk about with Returnal. Returnal had all the hype. If it had all the hype and it went day one, it would have sold fantastic. But the hype is gone. Matter of fact, there's people that's coming to say, "Oh, no, Returnal wasn't what I expected to be." So you think that that's still going to get, if that game comes out next year, that game is going to sell the same that it would
Okay, that game
when
got
the hype
negative.
was there?
That game got negative press. That game got negative press. Regardless, that would have affected PC sales as well as it did on PS5.
I got love for all you guys, but I gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up. Xbox, you should have started with this one. I told you that.
I know
this was
right. Okay, we could have went another 2
Yeah,
hours.
we could have. Yeah, we would have. This would have been on topic.
Well, I mean, I got love for all you guys.
The K Mega and Mucho. That would be awesome, dude.
Oh my god,
that would fucking be awesome, dude.
Me and K, our sponsor would have to be like Ricola or something for our throats.
So
right?
Yo, dude, I would love to see a show with
something smooth but a little spicy. Yeah,
I'll play the instrument.
Oh,
yeah,
yo.
Xbox. We do got to wrap this up. It is 11 o'clock here.
I'm trying to.
I'm trying.
I have been trying.
I don't even.
He's not trying at all.
Second ago.
He's not trying at all. He asked you another fucking question. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not trying."
I thought you were He's like, "Hey, but I got one more thing."
Hell no,
but guys, hopefully
down
the road, at some point in time, we can get a part 2. But yes, it is definitely time to wind it down. As you heard, once Dark leaves, and he's 3 hours behind us. Once Dark leaves, that's when you know. Yeah, you kind of
gone too long.
He's got to go back.
All I know is this.
He's got to go get a latte.
I only got like about 4 minutes of talk time. Just saying.
Yeah.
It was quality minutes, Sir X-Man.
Dark got to go fire some people.
You owe me Crossfire tomorrow for this one.
That's fine, Sir X-Man. I got to be honest with you. Dark's got to leave and dip an In-N-Out burger into a latte. So
But guys,
put some hot sauce on that, bro. Put some hot sauce on that.
Put some hot sauce on.
Wow, it's like herding cats sometimes.
Oh,
man.
that's
Yo,
good
shout
stuff.
out to the Don, bro.
Real quick. I gotta say something to K-Mega.
Real quick.
I got Mortal Kombat on the PC, bro. We can play Mortal Kombat.
Well, I gotta buy it, but I'll get it.
I swear I played you before.
No. Remember, it's crossplay. With PC.
They cut it off.
Okay, now you've had.
They cut off all the crossplay. Period.
They cut off the crossplay is only with PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or Xbox One, and
all right, guys.
Only getting later,
guys.
Well, it's on sale right now on PC.
Sir X-Man.
Okay,
please. This is Xbox Live Party Talk.
You got 5 minutes.
Oh hell no! It technically was Xbox Live Party Chat. This is how you argue on Xbox most of the time.
Yo, shout out to the chat, guys. Guys, if you were entertained tonight, definitely hit that thumbs up button. We are getting into the intros. I am not talking about plugs or comb overs or outros.
Outros. We ain't doing no more intros.
Well, yeah. My bad. But on that note, yo, I am going to start with the special guest so they can get out of here as quick as possible. Yo, Mooch, it is always a blast, man.
Fuck
and
this shit, I'm out.
The funny thing was, yo, the whole me not being able to get 2 words in, I thought that was a Crossfire thing, but you come over here and it becomes a next podcast panel thing as well, man. But dude, I always love talking games with you, bro. It is a blast, man. And again, I will always appreciate you were the one who saw something in me and gave me my first weekly seat on a podcast. You're
a great Xbot. You really are, honestly, dude.
That, man. We got a show tomorrow, man. You got to let people know what's going on, bro.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to say thanks to the panel. Honestly, this is great discussion. It's a great topic, right? It really wasn't. It was a great next podcast, but Sir X-Man was like, we kind of had a little bit of a crossfire there, and I love that. You learn something, right? And it's people think when I leave these shows, I always take something from it. What Kay said, what Crispy said, Dark, Sir X-Man, Xbot. What you guys say, I go back and I think about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the one thing I've been able to do over the years is just kind of take back a lot of the stuff that I think is right and then kind of digest it and kind of take it all in, because everyone's perspective on things is not wrong. Like Kay and I, just what we did was not wrong. It was legitimately different thoughts, different opinions as we progress into the future. And there are 2 different strategies. If me and Kay have 2 different strategies, I'm sure Microsoft and Sony have different strategies. That's why it's not necessary, right? It's true. So that's just the way it's going to be. Right. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Let them do that, and we, the consumer, will decide who is right and who's not. who's not right. That being said, let me do a quick plug here. We got Crossfire tomorrow. Guys, the great X-Cloud Tim Dog. We got Tim Dog on tomorrow, as well as a couple other guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's show. It's fun when we can get Tim on there because Tim's got a lot of hype, a lot of energy, and he's a New Yorker. So I can see a couple guys here in the chat right now going, he just thinks he's loud. You think I'm loud? New Yorkers are all loud. That's how we just kind of go about our day. We're like, excuse me, are you using that newspaper? That's what we do here. Nonetheless, so it's the Mooch78 over on YouTube. It's Mooch1978 over on Twitter. And it's the Mooch78 on Twitch. Guys, we are going to be doing some really cool stuff on Twitch starting this week. So, yeah, go over, subscribe, take a look at it. And Xbot, thank you so much for having me on next podcast, man. Great show.
No doubt, brother. I think this was the most energetic one that you have been on out of all of them.
I remember my last one being pretty darn close.
Yeah. Hopefully,
wasn't too far from tonight's.
Hopefully, there are more to come, brother. More to come. But,
absolutely.
Next on the list is my golfing buddy, Twitch streaming extraordinaire, Sir X-Man. It is your outro, bro. What do you got for us, man? And as usual, dude, you're like you're an extended family member, man. So you come on. Like I'm gonna take that moniker, special guest, off of you. Fairly soon, man. You're just going to be just another part of the family, bro. So, what do you got, man?
Oh, now I can talk.
No, okay, and that's it. No, I'm just playing. No,
yeah. Let's move on.
Dark.
I thought you was gone, bro.
Yeah, Dark is hysterical, man.
Nah, I just had fun listening to all the conversations. Cut it out. And that is my favorite one. I like that one.
I do.
But nah, I just was chilling out. You guys gave me time to do stuff on my PC while I wasn't talking, so I appreciate it. It was like I was around friends having conversation and yelling and screaming at each other, but enjoying each other's conversation and respecting each other. That's the most important thing out there, people. Respect one another. No matter where you play, no matter what you do in life, just respect each other. That's about it. Everything else you know about, I'm done.
Nice, brother. And I guess Dark is still here. So, Dark, you going to hit us with that outro, bro?
Oh, God.
Yeah, now that Sir X-Man and Mooch have stopped blowing smoke up our asses.
I would never blow smoke up your ass.
Thank you, Dark.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Darkonymous. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. And you guys can find me here every Thursday on the next podcast. The best motherfucking podcast on Thursday nights, motherfuckers.
Oh, wow. Had to get dirty, didn't you?
Boy, he had to get wild, didn't he? Boy, I tell you, that's a thug with a pink bandana on. Go ahead.
No. We gotta correct that. I heard he got pink panties. I heard.
Yo, I hope somebody photoshopped that picture he took where he was at Rams Stadium or whatnot, and they put a pink bandana
SoFi,
on
baby. SoFi, dude.
Ram Nation, baby. Let's go.
Dude, that fucking game was excellent, bro. Excellent.
Ending.
All right, man. Let's get to Crispy himself. Crispy, brother, you are on multiple shows. I know this. The panel knows this, but maybe somebody in the chat doesn't, man. Let them know. What's up with your outro?
Well, I actually have to work tomorrow, so no BWB. And we got Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesday night. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. At ChrispyBomb on Twitter. ChrispyBomb28 Xbox Live. And of course, you can find me back here on the next podcast. 8 p.m. Thursdays. Prime time.
Prime
get time. I want to jump through the screen.
I feel like my ear has been seduced.
I've turned you to the dark side.
That was pretty good.
We got to get him back in golf. I missed that voice.
Olga,
baby,
Olga.
give it to me.
You know Mooch has golf too, you know, right?
Yeah, I think Mooch gave up on it though. I
just I gave up. I was playing by myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you really got to play this in rounds and matches and stuff. It's just
that's
like,
how you get better.
I agree.
That's how you get more stuff.
I agree.
I have no
Mooch,
patience.
I am a Twitter message away from 18 holes anytime, bro. Just to
Okay.
let you know.
No, this is good to know. This is good to know.
Whenever we're gonna play golf, we'll just text you golf. That's all we say is golf. That's all we put in there. All right,
guys.
it.
We have to get to the man who is going under the knife, brother. You said you had to leave early, but I think the topics, the conversation, and of course, our guests and stuff kept you compelled to stay the entire time, man. But what's going on with GRG and everything then? What's happening?
There ain't I ain't doing shit. There's no GRG.
You're not handing it off to Baby Bot or something like
that.
Man?
No GRG, no fight night. Hell, there might not be no next podcast next week. I might be on that Percocet.
As long as you get healed
up,
bro.
They might want you
your
on
health
even
is
more
important.
if you're
because I'm gonna have a big ass hole in my thigh from when they take this big ass tumor out of it. So
have you named your tumor yet?
No, I think
X-Bot.
Yes. Wow. That's the tumor I can't get rid of. I don't know why.
Wow.
But no. There won't be no GRG this week. Hopefully, I'll be good and ready to go to do something. Hopefully by the middle of this coming up week. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this surgery, man. It's all good. So, But you can check me out on Twitter because I will be talking shit.
Take care of yourself, brother. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So check me out at KMega4. Thanks to our guests. You know what I'm saying? Really appreciate it. It's been a long time, Mooch. You're still slick as ever. You be coming out, man. It was
slippery,
listen, Kay, we got to get you on the show, Kay. I know you got GRG right after. That's the same thing I talk to BitCloud about all the time. Sometimes it's hard for Bit. He does a show before, you do a show after. So some people don't really want to do 8 hours of podcast, and I get that. But we got to get you on the show, man.
Yeah, you can have me up on the show.
All right, I'm going to holler you in a couple weeks. I'm going to give you a couple weeks to heal up. By the way, I want to say, God bless and prayers are with you tomorrow, by the way, Kay.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
He's going to be fiending by a podcast by then.
I'll be fiending to do a podcast and ready to do. I'll be fiending for fight night too. So yeah, but y'all check out my Twitch channel too. Would really appreciate if you check the old footage. We be acting a damn fool at fight night. So and all of that. So and then I can get back to doing Devin the Gamer with my boy Don and then come back and do this and then back to doing GRG and then hopefully I can start doing this new podcast that I'm going to be working on. That's completely not about gaming. So, Sir X-Man, I'm really getting that call.
It's about guys wearing
politics.
Is it about guys wearing Speedos?
As long as it's on a Saturday or Sunday.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it. We'll work on the date and all that stuff. Yeah, but after this, we'll be ready to go. But thank you guys so much, man. It was a blessing. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Kay.
Brother.
Catch you on the flip, bro.
And check this out. K-Mega, if he doesn't make it next week, he will miss out on our next special guest, which I am announcing will be none other than Dirt Griggity from We Bleed Green.
Oh, that's my boy. But
if I'm
on that Percocet.
See, you were on a good level, Bot. I mean, you had Lady Foxfire, you got Moon. Bring Dirt Griggity on here. I'm just like, dude,
Dirt's cool.
Don't be a hater. Don't be hating, sir. Don't be hating. So we got another fire show lined up for next Thursday. Shout out to the chat. You guys have been absolutely amazing. We are here every Thursday, 8 p.m., which of course, Crispy is
time.
Yes. Prime time.
Don't forget it, baby.
Guys, if you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can always become a member. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We will see you next Thursday for the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Prime time, bitches. What's that shit?
The voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to next podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.